And welcome back here. We're about to get going underway for the finals this afternoon on round number 3 of Route 66 here at beautiful MCC in Cincinnati. We're about to get underway here with our 206 Sportsman class, and it looks like may have one misfire as it looks like now he is back underway under their own power. So hopefully catch back up to the field. We may have to send him around one more time. Your starting order for the top 10. Slayton Baldock is going to start pole position next to Brady Schott in P number 2. Christopher Yotze starts at P number 3 next to Landon Brewer. Isaiah Maxey starts P number 5 next to A.J. Stoner. P number 7 is going to Jacob Schaub, who is starting at P7 next to Thomas Anthony in P8. Brayton DeMont starts at P number 9 next to Kason Hendrickson, rounding out your top 10. And 11th, Ethan Leroy starts next to Caleb Johnson at P12. And Ezekiel Haight starts on the final row next to Tucker Tribe, rounding out your 14-cart field for your Breaks 206 Sportsman, sponsored by Perks All-Star. We're going to send over to our Emery Lida, who is going to call the start here this afternoon. Emery?
Yeah, so chances are this one will not be able to start on right away, as we got Brady Schott coming up from the rear of the field. Had a little bit of a misfire on the grid, which kept him from getting out right away. So now he's going to have to be going through the field on the next warm-up lap to get himself back into position. He'll start on the outside of front row. It was an interesting pre-final, obviously marred by a red flag for Tucker Tribe. Our thoughts are with him, but certainly with Slayton Baldock and Brady Schott on the front row. Baldock kind of came out of nowhere on the last lap. He had the pace with Christopher Yotze to keep up with the front two guys of Brady Schott and Landon Brewer. At the end of the race, was able to get a pass coming down the front straightaway to take the win. Kind of a little bit away from Brady Schott, who had been dominant up until that point all weekend. But another guy worth noting is someone that was all the way back at the back of the field at the red flag. That was A.J. Stoner, who spun on the first lap of the pre-final. He'll start 6th in this race. Again, remember back to yesterday, he won the final on track, was disqualified for something in the scale line. Unfortunate for him, that would have been his first Route 66 Sprint Series win this year, but it was not to be for Stoner. But watch out for him. He's had a lot of pace all weekend long. So for AJ Stoner, it's going to be from 6th on the grid. From Brady Schott, he's going to have to get that position back from Slayton Baldock off of the line. They're coming around turn 9 and 10 now. They're going to take the cut through as soon as they get up to the top kink. So that's going to be kind of expediting the process. But in the meantime, I want to thank everyone for tuning in on the Kart Chaser Premium channel. We do appreciate all of the support for you guys getting set to go for the main events here at Motorsport Country Club of Cincinnati. It's going to be a front row of Slayton Baldock and Brady Schott. Schott has been the dominant force this weekend with some help from A.J. Stoner. It's about to be an exciting final. They're slow in the tram lines, getting set to go, looking for the green. Second time going. Are we going to get it? It's green flag in the air. Slayton Baldock off to turn 1. He looks like he's going to get the early jump on Brady Schott, who hangs it around the outside. Stoner's gone 3 wide in the middle, and it looks like Brady Schott going to go around the outside of Slayton Baldock through turn 2 to take the lead early on in this race as they head up the hill, now heading up into turn 4. No defense whatsoever from Schott. He's trusting Baldock to stay behind him. And now A.J. Stoner with an audacious move on the start goes around the inside for P3 possibly, but Christopher Yotze is going to hold on to that position on the inside. Yotze's going to send it on Stoner, kind of push him a little bit wide on the exit of turn 4 or turn 7. Keep the position there. They're going side by side up the hill, coming towards turn 10, and Stoner is going to win out for that position, but in the process, it's allowed the front two of Slayton Baldock and Brady Schott leading them to pull away a little bit. So we'll have to see if, like we've seen a lot of in the 206 categories, if we see the front two continue to work together. But in the meantime, Brady Schott up in the lead. You've got Slayton Baldock in P2. A.J. Stoner with a fantastic opening lap to get himself up to 3rd position. Remember, this is the guy that won the final on merit yesterday. Today, he started the pre-final after the first turn, was in almost dead last off the track. Now he's in with a shot of a feint event victory. He's just got to catch down Brady Schott and Slayton Baldock as we head on to lap number 2.
Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on A.J. Stoner sitting there in the 3rd spot. Again, he's being followed by Christopher Yotze, who is not too far behind as he's trailing roughly probably about maybe 6 or 7 car lengths as they make their way out of turn number 4 as they now snake their way down towards turn number 7. So A.J. Stoner in that cue ball helmet running in the 4th spot as, again, Yotze, who is sitting in P number 4. He doesn't really have a whole lot of help right now. He is trailing just behind Isaiah Maxey now, who also had a pretty good run. He was able to make his way up through the field. He didn't have the best of days yesterday, but today he came out in power. He is trying to make his way into that top 5. He is right there on the board between 5th and 6th, so hopefully with a little bit of extra help, they can catch back up to that front group as we continue to watch the top two. Both Brady Schott and Slayton Baldock continue to run out in front, but slowly but surely, A.J. Stoner is clawing his way up to that front group. All he needs to do is maybe make up 1 or 2 more car leads to get in the tow, and we could see a 3-car battle for the lead as they head into turn number 1.
Yeah, Stoner just went purple on that last lap of 108.106. He is running faster than pretty much anyone on the track. He's caught the front two by a full 1/10 of a second. He's pulled away from Isaiah Maxey and Landon Buer by a full 1/2 a second. And so for Stoner, this is him on the charge here. He's had the roll pace all weekend long in the 206 category, and now we're seeing it come to fruition. Slade Baldock seems content to push Brady Schott into the lead as they come through turn 7 now. He's been patient early on in this race. He was patient in the pre-final, was 4th entering the last lap. Now he's got a chance, though, with A.J. Stoner pulling up to the front back of him. We've seen in the past, this is a pass or be passed karting race. You have to make passes on this track to be able to stay in position. And now as Stoner pulls up to the backside of it, the time to move is now for Cillian Baldock, because Stoner is not going to waste any time here trying to make the position. We'll see if he does it down the front straightaway or if he waits, but regardless, A.J. Stoner is here. It is a 3-cart battle for the lead now as they start to head down the front straightaway. It's Brady Schott still leading again in this race with Slayton Baldock in tow, and A.J. Stoner who's about to reset the fastest lap of the race with a 107.761, and he is right on the bumper of the top 2 as we head into lap number 4.
Yeah, and a little bit of update, too. Christopher Yotze is actually falling back through the field. He was running up there in that 5th and 6th position. He's now fallen himself all the way back to 10th, so I'm not sure if something happened off camera to him. It looks like he has settled in, though, and he is in between both Caleb Johnson and Thomas Anthony, so maybe those 3 might be able to work their way back up to the field. But meanwhile, as Emery said before, A.J. Stoner has now caught up to the group. Last time by, he went purple, so he is the fastest kart on track right now as he is in the tow of both Schott and Baldock as they make their way through 8, 9, 10 complex. Now heading into 11. It's going to be a 3-car breakaway, so let's see if Stoner is going to maybe work with these 2 and try to push them away from the field, or if he's going to try to go quickly to try to get around these guys and get a little bit of a gap, because by himself, he closed up roughly about a 0.3 of a second gap with no push from behind, and he didn't really have a tow until the last couple laps where he caught up to him as they make their way through the last couple of corners. 3 karts out in front. Schott, Baldock, and Stoner are going to go nose to tail, making their way across the start-finish straight. We are now going to put another lap into the bank. It is 8 laps to go, 7 to go next time by.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to me because Landon Buer had a lot of pace in the pre-final, was able to stick right on the tail of Brady Schott, and now in this final, he seems to lack the pace. He's a full 3 seconds back from that lead group, and he's also running times that are 7/10 a lap off the pace. So disappointing start to the final for your guy that started in 4th position. But in the meantime, up at the front of the field, Brady Schott continues to lead this race. Again, Slayton Baldock has seemed content to just run behind him, click off laps, get experience, understand where Schott is better and where he can make a move. But A.J. Stoner might be a little bit more impatient because he caught these guys from almost a second back on the first lap to finding himself up in that lead group. And he has shown the pace. He's gone purple. He's run 107.7s multiple times now. And he looks like the fastest kart on the track as you see coming through the final couple of corners. That lead group kind of gets a little bit further spread out, but down the front straightaway, they're going to be right back up there together. So Brady Schott comes down the front straightaway to click off another lap in the lead. With Slayton Baldock, how long will he wait? Will he wait to 2 to go? I think it's very feasible to see that. A.J. Stoner might force his hand a little bit earlier, though.
Make their way into turn number 2 right now. 3-kart battle. Stoner has not moved up higher than 3rd all race long. It's the highest he ran from starting in the 6th position. And he continues to follow right now on the back bumper Baldock. And as Emery said before, they maybe wait until the last couple of laps to make their move. Right now they're staying in a tow, getting some good separation, because right now they're holding on to roughly about a 4-second lead over 4th placement of Landon Buer as they make their way through turn number 7. I think we're going to switch over here for a second to P4. There is your 4th placement coming into view of Landon Buer. He is currently being trailed by both Isaiah Maxey, who's had a phenomenal race, holding on to the top 5 after qualifying in the 5th position. He has a chance of possibly making his way just a little bit higher, but they're going to have to work together to catch back up the top 3 if they want any chance. And right behind Isaiah Maxey is Jacob Schaub running in P6, and Brayton DeMott rounding out that 4-pack, battling it out for the 4th position as they make their way through turns 13, 14, now heading into 15 now. So those 4 are the battle for the 4th position. Right behind your top 3 of Brady Schott, Slayton Baldock, and A.J. Stoner as they make their way through turn number 1. Here's the 4-kart battle for the 4th position heading into turn number 1.
Yeah, as they cross halfway, it's been a disappointing race so far for Landon Buer. He's got Isaiah Maxey, Brayden DeMott, and Jacob Scheibel all over him. Now as Scheibel makes a move for 6th position there, gets down the inside of Dumont coming into turn 3. He's got the position by the looks of it as they'll race up the hill. Coming into turn 4, by the looks of it, I think Scheibel's been able to keep that 6th position that he got early on in the lap. And now in 4th and 5th, it allows a little bit of breathing room for Landon Buer and Isaiah Maxey. So for those two, just continuing to stay right in tow. They just don't have the pace to keep up with the front 3. We're now 5 seconds clear of that second group. So Landon Buer has not had a great race, but as we go back towards the lead of the group coming up in just a second here, it still continues to be Brady Schott up in front, but we've had a change for the second position just past halfway as AJ Stoner has worked his way up to 2nd, started 6th. Again, massive issues in the pre-final, spun on the first lap. Now he's looked like the fastest car in this final. He won on track yesterday. It did not work out for him on the scale line, but now he's in 2nd. But as I say that, Slayton Baldock goes down the inside again into turn 1 and gets that 2nd position back, but Stoner's going to try to hang it on the outside. Stoner keeps the position, and now he's got a good run on Schott as well. So a good run there by AJ Stoner to hold on to 2nd position through the outside of turn 2.
Yeah, Stoner had a good job of rolling the outside line, not losing a whole lot of time. And that actually kind of acted like a slingshot coming out of 2. He gained all sorts of momentum, and he is now starting to close in on the leader of Brady Schott as they make their way through turns 6 and 7. Now heading out to the chicane of 8, 9, and 10. He had to peek back to see how close Baldock was. He's trailing him about 4 or 5 kart lengths. He's in the area as they make their way through the chicane. Now coming up into 11, all over the back bumper. Stoner is on Schott as they come down to 12. Is he going to take it here, or is he going to try to push? It looks like he is going to push going into 12, and that is going to continue to open up the gap between the 2 out in front of Schott and Stoner and your 3rd placement of Baldock. So if they keep this up, we could easily see Slayton Baldock lose sight of the 2 out in front by just not being in the tow. Not saying he's not quick enough, because he is quick enough to stay with the top 3, but the fact that that tow is going away and AJ is giving a little bit of a push there to Schott as they make their way into turn 1, and now he's going to go for it on the inside. New leader, AJ Stoner, for the first time today in 206 Sportsman, as he is now leading both Brady Schott and Slayton Baldock heading into turn number 4.
AJ Stoner has done it. He's gone all the way from the back of the field on lap 1 of the pre-final all the way up to the lead as we cross lap number 8 of this 206 Sportsman final here. And now as they come down to 7, he's at risk of that, though, because he's been blocking. Brady Schott going to try to go around the outside. Is he going to cross over on exit of 7? He is not. They all stay in line on exit. That's allowed Slayton Baldock to get right back up in the fight with the 2 of them. And now it is going to be a 3-kart race as we head down. Only 4 laps to go in this one. AJ Stoner has done all the hard work in the first few laps of this race to get himself in a position, but now he's got to finish it off. He's got to outrace Brady Schott. We saw it yesterday in the final. Is now Schott down the inside in turn 13, gets the lead back, wasting no time. We saw this in the Swift race. Brady Schott does not like to be in 2nd or 3rd place. He wants to lead this race. And now we'll have to see if AJ Stoner plays along with that or if he just pushes behind and tries to go for the lead again. As they come down to 3 laps to go, Schott officially leads his 9th lap of the race, but AJ Stoner gave him a great challenge on that lap and it really had control of that. But now as they come up to 4, will we see AJ Stoner make another move again?
Yeah, so Stoner now is going to follow onto the back bumper of Brady Schott as they make their way down into turn 4. It looks like Slayton Baldock may have had an opportunity to pop out there last second to make a move, but now he is going to stay in line. So the 3 are now nose to tail, coming up into 6 and 7 right now through turn 7. And I think Stoner may be under attack here shortly from Slayton Baldock, who has a tow to his advantage. He's trailing still by about a half a car length. He's made up a little bit of ground, but Stoner immediately goes to the back bumper of Brady Schott and gives him a little bit of a push there in that short chute between turns 10 and 11. And now he's going to try on the inside. It looks like he's going to bring Slayton Baldock with him. And Baldock goes for a 2-for-1, tried it. Did not work out for him, and now A.J. Stoner's going to lose 2 spots. Baldock led there for about a half of 10 feet before it was given right back to Brady Schott, who is now back in front. Coming down to the stripe, they're going to see 2 laps to go. I think the gloves are coming off. It is going to be Brady Schott leading over Baldock. A.J. Stoner just off of the distance with 2 laps to go here at MCC.
And now Slayton Baldock back to pushing Brady Schott, who has officially led every lap of this race, but the last 2 have been a dogfight for him as he comes out of turn 2. Still has Baldock right on his tail. Baldock, who won the pre-finals, looked fast over the last day or so. Now he's got a chance to find a main event feature win in 206 Sportsman. AJ Stoner did so much work to get up to the front. It's been undone as now he's back in 3rd and now has to work with 2 nitro carts right in front of him. Brady Schott, though, continues to lead as they exit turn 7. They're coming down, only a lap and a half left as they come up towards turns 8, 9, and 10. Shad continues to just will his way up to the lead. It hasn't been pretty for him in this race. He's had a lot of pressure from AJ Stoner. Slayton Baldock briefly even took the lead last time, and now Stoner back to second. He's got by Baldock on the entrance to turn 12, and as they come into 13, he's back up into second with a shot at the lead now. Coming out of the final corner, we're going to head down, heading up to the final lap of this race as they come onto the main straightaway. Brady Schott has 2 carts in tow. He's going to white line it as they come down the front straightaway. Will we see AJ Stoner make a move? It's going to be tight, and with 3 carts in it, anything can happen here.
Yeah, as they make their way down into turn number 2, one Stoner trying to make his move. It looked like Shad defended that inside line for all that it's worth, and now the ping pong effect is coming into play. AJ Stoner is getting pushed from behind. He's also bumping the guy in front of him, so he's in the middle of a sandwich. It looks like Shad defends again, heading into turn 4. Through the little quick kink of turn 5, now coming up into 6 and 7. This is a good passing opportunity. Is there any takers? There is not. They're all going to stay in line as they make their way now out of turn 7. Coming down this backstretch for a final time through the chicane of 8, 9, and 10. This is not a good passing opportunity, but it is possible. And they're all going to bide their time through there. Through 11 for the final time. Coming up the hill to 12. They're all in a line. Does Stoner try it going into 12? He had a look to the inside. He has the speed, but he's going to wait. So I think the final couple of corners are going to get interesting for him as they come down. There's Shad defending the inside heading into 13, through 14, and now 15. Out of the final couple of corners. This is going to be a side-by-side photo finish, I feel like. Get your cameras ready. Out of the final couple of corners. In the toe is AJ Stoner. Shad is on point. He goes down to the inside, looks back. Is it enough across the stripe? I can't even tell, and it is AJ Stoner who's going to win out over Brady Shad by .019, tenth of a second. It is AJ Stoner taking the lead of Brady Shad. Slayton Baldock comes across in P3. Isaiah Maxey cracking into the top 5, goes to P4. Landon Brewer rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Braden DeMott finishing in P6. Jacob Schabel finishing in the 7th position. Christopher Yotze finishing in P8. Caleb Johnson 9th. Ezekiel Haight in P10. Thomas Anthony in 11th. Casey Henderson finishing in 12th. Ethan Leroy in 13th position. So that is going to do it for your Briggs 206 Junior Sportsman, sponsored by Perkins All-Star. When we come back, we have your headline event. The KA100 Sr is coming to you live from MCC.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
And welcome back here. About to get going with our KA100 Sr, sponsored by Wolcher Racing Engines, as they are now making their way down the line. Your front row of Nicholas Terlecki and Brandon Lemke are coming down to leading the pack, and the eyes on the starter. And it is a no-go. Houston, it is an aborted start. We're going to have to delay it one more time around. And again, your starting order now. now we have a little bit of time, is going to be Nicholas Terlecki starting in pole position next to Brandon Lemke. Austin Jers starts in P3 next to Emerson Reed. Alexander Kardashian starts in P5 next to Adam Maxwell. Cameron Case starts P7 next to Kayla Anderson. Bryce Merschberger starts in P9 next to Grayson Rosetson. P11 is going to be Logan Mueller starting next to Shane Segel. P13 is going to go to Adam Crippen, start next to Clay Robinson. Gabe Lee starts next to Mason Surgener. P17 is going to be Harbert Doss starting next to Alex Feldstein. 19th position goes to Oliver Cunningham starting next to Braden Adkins. Gia Cardone starts in 21st next to Jalen Kerr. 23rd is going to go to Evan Hansen starting next to Riley Plagram. And Josh Holtz is going to be at the tail of the field in 25th position. 25 drivers are getting lined up. The field has been set. The final day of racing is about to go. We're about to see Terlecki trying to see if he can't defend his win. And Brandon Lemke, after the events that happened yesterday in the final, probably going to try to see if he can't punch his ticket in to get a win here this weekend. And right behind them, Austin Jers and Emerson Reed, both competitors who may have a chance. Green flag is out, and it is going to be Terlecki on point as Lemke falls back 1 or 2 positions. Austin Jers goes up to second. Kardashian is going to be in the middle of 3 wide to exit turn number 2. He's not going to slot into the 4 spot as they make their way down into turn 4, and they're still going side by side, trying to get sorted out single file. Top 4 is single file, though, starting to pull away, and then they're all bunched up from behind. So it's going to be Terlecki now leading the way over Austin Jers heading into turn number 6 and 7. Emerson Reed right there as well. Sorry, that's not Emerson Reed. That is Brandon Lemke running in 3rd. And just behind him, Alexander Kardashian did not have the best day yesterday. Came across with a mechanical and a D and F. So now he is trying to see if he can't possibly punch his ticket in to get a win here this afternoon. Through 12 they go. No one tries to make a pass, but here comes Jers trying to roll the inside line. Gets into it, and that is going to bump Terlecki back 1, almost 2, as Lemke thought about trying to make a move. Now Lemke is under attack from losing a position to Alexander Kardashian. They're going to go side by side. Who's going to yield? And I think it's going to have to be Kardashian on the outside line, as now there's a possible leader change, but it's not going to be. It is still Jers in second. Terlecki leads heading into turn number 2.
Nick Terlecki gets the lead back from Austin Jers coming into turn 1, and now as they come up to turn 4, Brandon Lemke almost got passed by Alexander Kardashian, but now he's in the clear and he's going back to P2, getting past Austin Jers coming through turn 4. Emerson Reed trying to get by Alexander Kardashian for 4th in the background there, but you can see Terlecki, a little bit of a bobble in the first lap, but he's been able to compose himself, get the lead back from Jers, only spent about 2 quarters behind him, and now him and Lemke and Jers, the front 3 from the final lap yesterday, repeating things again today through the first lap and a half. Lemke's going to look for the lead coming through turn 11. It looks like he's got the run to do it. Jers going to try to follow him through the kink. Jers able to get to the inside of Terlecki, kind of stuffs it in there and gets the second position. So Brandon Lemke to the lead. Move Austin Jers to second. Move Nick Terlecki down to 3rd as they head up down towards the main straight now through the final kink. It's Brandon Lemke leading a long train of go-karts all the way back to maybe about 10th place before you see a significant gap. But the top 3 are nose to tail as we head into turn 2.
Yeah, as they make their way through turn number 2, and they're still up on the wheel, and it's still Lemke out in front. He went purple last lap, so he's registered as the fastest kart. Right behind him, Austin Jers also wants to win. I think he felt like he had one stripped away from him as he is trying to get himself back onto the top step. And right behind him, you'll find Nicholas Terlecki, followed by, as Emery said, a train of karts. There's roughly about 7 that are up in that front row, starting with Lemke, ending with Bryce Birchberger in the 7th position. They're all nose to tail. And if these 2 out in front of both Lemke and Jers are able to pull away, then we might see a little bit of a gap there forming between the top 2. But right now, they're equal spacing all the way through, as Terlecki had a look on the inside of Jers, thought better of it. Making their way now through the final couple of corners coming down. We're going to burn 1 more lap and put into the bank. It's going to be 9 laps to go at the line. It is going to be Lemke out in front, Jers in P2. With now a peek to the inside. Let's see if he takes it. Jers is going to take the spot, and Terlecki does not follow, but here comes on the outside line Alexander Kardashian, now going to lose his spot to Cameron Doss as he falls back to 5th.
Cameron Cass almost got the position there. This has been a fantastic run. Now they're going to almost go 3 wide. They are going to go 3 wide into turn 4. Emerson Reed tried it. Did not work out. Cameron Cass gets the position. He is up to 4th, a sensational run. But up front, it is Brandon Lemke and Austin Jers racing each other. Jers has got himself back up to the race lead. He is MP1 as they head up the hill towards turn 10. Nick Terlecki right in tow, and the battle between Cass and Kardashian and Emerson Reed has made that group a little bit back from the front 3. Now, though, heading into turns 11, 12, and 13, will we see Lemke go back out to pass? They stay in line at the moment. Jers continues to lead this race as they come around to complete lap number 4 as they're coming onto the main straightaway. Still a 3-car breakaway. You've still got Austin Jers there with Lemke and Terlecki in tow, but Cameron Cass is coming quick. The number 15 Post driver development, Merlin, is absolutely flying at the moment. He's got by Kardashian and cleared him, and Emerson Reed as well, and he's going to join those front 3 coming up towards turn 4.
Yeah, I think the only thing that he wants to do right now is break up the top 3 and keep it interesting. He wants that pack bunched up as much as he can, as it is still Jers out in front over Lemke as they continue to go back and forth. They're going to go single file through 6 and now 7 out of the exit of 7, heading down that short chute to turn number 8. All over the back bumper of your leader of Austin Jers is Brandon Lemke as they make their way through the 8, 9, 10 complex, heading down towards 11. A little bit of a better run there for Brandon Lemke over Austin Jers. Let's see if he tries to take it on the inside. He does not. Continues to follow Jers. A little bit of a defensive line there at the exit of 12 as they make their way through 13, 14, now 15. Coming down to that front straightaway yet again. Top 4 are in a line. We got them lined up, stacked up, ready to go. Jers, Lemke, Terlecki, and just about to join the party is Cameron Cass, who is running in the 4th position. But right behind him, that's Cameron Reed and Alexander Kardashian, also trying to see if they can't get their nose in the top 4.
As we say that, though, Emerson Reed goes back down to defend his position against Kardashian into turn 2, and that breaks up the front group from the back group again. So now it is a 4-cart breakaway. You've got the 2 carts up front of Austin Jers and Brandon Lemke, then 2 Hoach driver development carts of Nick Terlecki and Cameron Cass. All of them have about equal pace that last lap, within a tenth of each other. Terlecki may be the slowest of the group at the moment from a pure pace standpoint, but he is purely quick enough to keep it in position as we see some further fighting down through the field. But in the meantime, back up to the front 4. Austin Jers continues to race up at the front, just clicking off laps. He's been consistent. So far, Lemke has not pulled the trigger on a pass in the last couple laps. Willing to click him off, willing to trust Austin Jers leading the race. Lemke now has 2 Hoach driver development team drivers right behind him. Will we see Terlecki pull out? He's going to go for it into turn 1 on Lemke. Cass can't quite follow him through, but move Nick Terlecki, yesterday's feature winner, up to the 2nd position coming through turn 2. And now Lemke has a decision to make. Does he push Terlecki or does he stay and try to make a move there?
Yeah, they're all going to go single file through 4, now heading out to 5. This little short shoot. I don't think that Lemke is just letting Austin lead. I think he may be struggling now because he is behind Nicholas Terlecki. He is staying up with Terlecki's back bumper. He's using the draft to his advantage, although he's got to be careful. Cameron Cass went purple last lap, a 1:00.66, so he is the fastest car on track. If they battle back and forth too much, he will close down. He's down by about 2 or 3 kart lengths. Now he is on the back bumper of Brandon Lemke as they make their way through. There's a good battle for the 5th position. That is between Alexander Kardashian and Emerson Reed. Have been going back and forth a couple of times. If they can settle down for a lap or 2, if the front pack decides to go back and forth, it could easily be a 6-kart battle for the lead as we continue to watch the top 2. That is Austin Jers leading with Nicholas Terlecki in P2. And now in the 3rd place, here comes Lemke trying to see if he can't get his nose in on. That is going to be Nicholas Terlecki for P2 as they make their way down to turn number 4.
As we see Lemke now going for the 2nd place back on Terlecki. He makes the move stick. So move Brandon Lemke back to 2nd place right behind Austin Jers. They've started to drop Cameron Cass a little bit over the last lap. I don't know if that was just a slight bobble from Cass or maybe his tires starting to fall off. But regardless, there's only 5 laps to go in this one. It's absolutely flown by. And we've seen Austin Jers continue to be consistent up at the front of the field. He's run his own race, and now Lemke's back into it. We'll have to see if Brandon's going to try to make a move on this time around. He's going to go around the outside of the kink again, and now he's got the position. So a nice move on Austin Jers. Jers gets it back into turn 13, but now Lemke's going to be the one getting shuffled as now Terlecki gets himself back up in 2nd. Cass tried to make a move on the outside, could not make it stick, and now that's brought Kardashian and Emerson Reed right back into the fray as we head down the main straightaway. 4 laps to go. Nick Terlecki to the lead ahead of Austin Jers. Jers tries to switch him back. He's going to send it into the turn 2. They go side by side, a little bit of a nudge there, and that brings Lemke back into 2nd. It's all playing out here, but Austin Jers has maintained his lead.
Yeah, all this back and forth hustling and tussling has allowed both Reed and Kardashian to close back up as Kardashian trying to see if he can't capitalize off of the battle that's happened out front between Cass and now here tries on the inside. There goes Kardashian. Count him up into 4th. He's able to get around Cass. Looks like he's going to bring Reed with him. So Cameron Cass, who was one of the fastest karts on track, is now falling back through the field as Kardashian now is going to try to be the bridge to connect the top 2. packs, that is, out in front as he's trying to run down the top 4. Still Jers, Terlecki, and Lemke out in front. And there's your new 4th placeman, Alexander Kardashian, as there's a little bit of defensive driving there from behind from both Reed and Cass as they're battling back and forth with each other. If they can settle in just a little bit longer, they'll be able to catch back up to the top 2, just like both Reed and Kardashian did the previous couple of laps. This time across the line, Austin Jers leads into 1. Hot on his tail as Lemke followed by Terlecki. Here comes Lemke on the inside, gets a little loose. Terlecki with the 2 for 1. He goes to the point, and now onto the back bumper of your former leader of Austin Jers comes Alexander Kardashian heading into 4.
Sensational stuff there for Nicholas Terlecki. He took advantage of Lemke's aggressive move and got himself back up to the lead, but now Kardashian is right in the fight. Jers takes a peek to the inside of Lemke for 2nd, cannot make it 6 through 7, and now Nick Terlecki back in the lead of the race, heading up through the hill, up towards turn 10. There's only 3 laps to go in this one. It has gone by fast, and Terlecki leads a 4-cart train. Lemke, he's made multiple moves on this kink. Is he going to make a 3rd one? He does. Another one. Now he's going to bring Jers with him coming through into turn 13. Jers going to take him to the lead.
Ooh.
Kardashian and Terlecki make contact on the exit of turn 13 into 14. That's cost them a load of time. It's Jers versus Lemke as they come down the straight. Jers crowding Lemke all the way down to the inside of the track. But it's going to be Brandon Lemke taking the lead into turn 1. Emerson Reeds found his way up to 3rd. In the meantime, somehow Bryce Merschberger is throwing the party. It is a 7-cart train led by Lemke at the front.
Yeah, they're all over the place here in the top 8, that is. They haven't really broken up as there's now 2 laps to go. White flag is going to be next time by as there's another pass on the inside for the 4th spot. So as of now, it sits Lemke, Jers P2, and then somehow Bryce Merschberger has caught up to that main group as they're still going side by side. 3 wide for a moment, a little bit of hustle and tussle. I don't think Kardashian liked that at all as they now head through 8, 9, and 10. Now through 11 they go. Top 2 is Lemke, followed by Jers. Right behind them is going to be Nicholas Terlecki as they make their way through. Actually, I take that back. I think Terlecki is in 3rd. Yeah, sorry, Terlecki 3rd as he is still under attack. Kardashian getting into the back bumper a little bit. I think that's of Cameron Reed as they make their way through turns 15. Now it's going to push Kardashian to the outside, drops the wheel. He is now out of sight of the main pack. They're going to drive away. This time by, white flag is in the air. Door-to-door across the line. Lemke and Jers go side by side. Here comes Bryce Merschberg from the back of the field. Now he's into 3rd, trying to roll the outside line of Terlecki. He's got to get his elbows out as he is not going to slot back into 3rd place heading into turn 4.
Where has Bryce Merschberger come off the whole weekend? Now he's in the top 3. Lemke continues to lead, though, ahead of Austin Jers. He's going to go defensive into turn 7. Will he leave the door open like yesterday? He does not. Cameron Cass makes a move for 4th in the background, but that is probably going to do them out of the lead contention. But in the meantime, it is Austin Jers and Brandon Lemke, your 2 championship leaders, neck and neck in the points. They're neck and neck on track right now heading through turn 10. Lemke just has 5 more corners to manage as he comes down through the kink into turn 12. Brandon Lemke now leading ahead of Austin Jers. Is he going to go defensive? He does into turn 13. Lemke parks the bus on the apex. Jers going to try something, doesn't have the run. Now as they head out of the final corner, it is going to be a drag race to the line yet again for the 2nd time in 2 days. Brandon Lemke, Austin Jers, your championship leaders, fighting for the line. Lemke gets the win by 35 1/1000ths of a second. An awesome run. Bryce Merschberger comes home to take 3rd position ahead of Cameron Cass and Nicholas Terlecki. What a show put on by this KA100 Sr, sponsored by Walter Racing and Engines class.
Yeah, how about that one? It was Lemke with the win, Jers P2. Bryce Merschberger had the drive of the day, coming all the way back up from starting 9th in the grid to be up into P3. Cameron Cass finishing in the 4th spot. Nicholas Terlecki falls back to 5th. Emerson Reed settles into 6th. Kayla Anderson, who was all the way back into the 12th and 13th position, finds herself finishing in 7th inside the top 10. Alexander Kardashian had an opportunity for a chance at the win. He settles in for P8. Grayson Redzetson finds herself in P number 9. And Adam Crippen rounds out the top 10 in the 10th position. So that was only the beginning of what's here yet to come today. We still have more feature events yet to come live here from MCC, so stay tuned as there's still more to come.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as IAMI and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jecco Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com. As the Western importer of the Praga and Formula K chassis brands, Leading Edge Motorsports is a high-performance kart shop and race team with a simple mission: teach others the joy of high-performance driving, supply our customers with the highest quality products and services, and most of all, win races. With our remarkable racing inventory, expert services, and top-ranked national-level team to back it up, we'll help to get your new kart racing package up and running fast. From arrive and drive service to kart preparation and driver coaching to the parts you need to get you back on the racetrack, Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer.
Hannah Greenemeyer.
Back here getting set for the LO206 Junior final here. Ava Hansen on pole. She gets a good start ahead of yesterday's winner, Jackson Wolney. She'll lead into turn 1. Jace Petty going into P3, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty clean start for all 7 karts in this field. And Ava Hansen, the championship points leader, a great showing so far today. She takes the early lead, not even going to have to defend, but behind her it's a 3-kart train. Jackson Wolney, Jace Petty, as well as Malachi Haight, all in that battle. So as they come down towards turn 7, I'm joined by Dalton Haynes in the booth. Dalton, you saw this race yesterday. You've seen how Ava Hansen's been dominant all weekend. What's it going to take for someone like Jackson Wolney to win again for the second time in 2 days?
Yeah, Ava Hansen's a really fast driver right now. She's been very consistent up at the front, leading almost every single lap in almost every single race we've done this weekend. So for Jackson Wolney to be able to beat her again twice in 1 weekend is going to be very hard for him. But he's going to need to be very consistent in his lap times, following behind her really closely every single lap, and then making a move when it's the right time. You know, pulling the plug at the right time is always important.
Yeah, for sure. And as we're looking at what Ava Hansen's been able to do this season, she entered this weekend with over a 200-point championship lead. I believe she's been on the podium at every race this season, including yesterday. And just like yesterday, to start lap number 1, it is a 3-kart breakaway at the front, the same 3. You've got Ava Hansen, you've got Jackson Wolney, and you've got Jace Petty, who has joined the battle again after a little bit of a slow showing in the pre-final. Hansen's up there again. She's been up at the front pretty much every lap this entire weekend. So strong showings for her. Yesterday, we barely saw any passes in the entire race up until about 2 laps to go. This time, we'll have to see if it's any different, but certainly a strong start for this front 3 as they continue to pull away from the rest of the group.
Hansen, a very consistent driver in this division. She's always at the front, like you said before. She's been in first, led a lot of laps this weekend. So if she can pull it together and hold on for the last couple laps, unlike yesterday, then I think she'll be happy with that.
For sure, yeah. And Jackson Wolney, yesterday's winner, if you remember back to yesterday, he was in 3rd in the group for most of the race until 2 to go. Ended up passing Jace Petty in, I believe it was turn 4, and then got to Ava Hansen and passed her on the final lap to take the victory. But now as we head down to complete lap number 2, he's in 1 position better early on in the race compared to what he was yesterday. He's in 2nd, content to work with both Hansen and Petty. Malachi Haight, and I believe that's Logan Wackerlin, this front row sitter in the pre-final, going head-to-head, coming through turn 1. Wackerlin's got the position up to 4th. We'll see if he has any sort of pace to match what they're doing up at the front, but he's got a huge mountain to climb to catch back up to those front 3, who so far this weekend, through roughly 30 laps of racing, have hardly done any passing when it comes to just working together, instead opting to have Hansen up at the front just leading the pack.
Yeah, as we've talked before, Emery, Briggs is all about working together, working together to pull away from anyone that's near you just so you can get some space on you before the last 2 laps when it comes down to fighting. With 2 to go, a lot of people do not fight. Even a lot of people do not fight in Briggs. They only fight the last lap. They really want to just get space out there because it's all about momentum in this division, so it's good to work together.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen in every Briggs category so far this weekend that they've used a lot of drafting. We see in the LO206 senior category where both Braden Johnson and Adam Maxwell have worked flawlessly with each other. Those guys are teammates. And the front three, however, these guys are all from different teams. So obviously, Ava Hansen's driving a Merlin, Jace Petty and Wolney as well, both running on OTKs. But when you look at how they've been doing this weekend, they've all just worked together really well, and that follows through with as well as that what we've seen from Briggs Cadet and now from the Briggs Juniors. So Ava Hansen, again, a flawless drive up at the front yesterday, did not come away with the win. We're seeing much of the same today through only 3 laps, but already a similar pattern taking shape. She's leading the race, she's being consistent, and really that front 3 is continuing to break away. Last lap, Logan Wackerlin was 0.3 slower than what they were able to do at the front, which again isn't bad, but when you're 2.2 seconds back, it's not good. And so Dalton, if you're in Wackerlin's position here in 4th and you want any shot at getting up front, as now we see a change for the lead. It's Jace Petty's going to go down the inside of Logan Worley, Jackson Wolney, who got back by Ava Hansen in the backside of the track. Move Petty up to the lead from 3rd at the start of the lap. He's now leading this race, and that just threw a wrench in everything I just said, as they were not content to continue working together, as this race just got turned upside down.
Yeah, these boys saw what Ava Hansen was doing, and they want to replicate that. They are tired of working with her. They know that she can lead every single lap. They know that she can almost pull away when it comes to battling. They don't want to get caught up with each other and not be able to get the fight for the win. So Jace Petty, again, going to the lead. He's going to want to try to control this race for the next couple of laps. Maybe Jackson Wolney will want to push him for a little bit. Maybe he won't. You know, we never know in these races. Sometimes they want to work together. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah, and if you're Ava Hansen now, you've been dropped all the way back to 3rd. Again, this is not a bad place to be in. You still have every opportunity to win when you come to the line from 3rd position, or especially 2nd. But with that said, just a little bit of a disruption here is now Jace Petty finds himself back up front. I believe this is the first lap he has led all weekend long. He's been in that 2nd to 3rd position pretty much the whole race, and now he's got his chance up at the front. Now as he comes through the kink, going a little bit lower than we see Jackson Wolney run from 2nd position. Wolney and Hansen sticking right on the back of Jace Petty. Unlike for Hansen, it seems like Petty's unable to really pull away as they come through the backside of the track, and that means that coming down the straightaway, if they're serious about passing, they're going to have to Petty's going to have to really block to keep that position, but it doesn't seem so. It seems like they're all content running right behind him, clicking off laps, continuing to pull half a second a lap to what Logan Wackerlin's doing in 4th.
Yeah, Jace Petty having a fun time at the front, leading his first couple laps of this weekend. He's really controlling this these front 3 really well. He'll be looking to grab his first win this weekend. Hopefully, if it's not for Jackson Wolney and Ava Hansen, he's gonna be looking to grab a win.
Yeah, for sure. Now as we look, as you can see the top 3 leaving the turn 7 hairpin, you can really see Wolney is all over Jace Petty coming up towards the turn 10 kink there. A little bit wide on exit from Petty. You can see that kind of bunched them back up together. Ava Hansen right there with the front 2. She is not used to not leading these races. We saw up in Dowsman, she led a lot of laps in the LO206 Junior. We saw in now the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. She has led a lot of laps all weekend on the LO206 platform. This is a little bit of adversity for her. Obviously, the championship might be well in her favor, but as we come to the halfway mark, she's going to have to find a way to get back by 2 carts now, but Jace Petty in the moment is leading this race and looking comfortable doing so. Now heading back down the line is a full 3 seconds back to what Logan Wackerlin is doing in 4th position, although that last lap he did match them for pace, but at the moment it's just Petty, Wolney, and Hansen continuing to run line of stern with each other, just continuing to push away.
Yeah, unfortunately this will be a 3-way battle. I don't think Logan Wackerlin will be able to catch them with the laps that they're running and how consistent that Jace Petty setting the pace right now. They're doing a great job of moving forward. He wants a chance to win it for the first time this weekend. He's excited. I know if I was in his position, I'd be really happy with leading these last couple laps of this race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Jace Petty getting some good experience leading this field here, making sure he doesn't make any major mistakes. Don't drop a wheel. Don't allow for the front to get there. Upwards of half a second you can lose onto the main straightaway if you get that last corner wrong. So it is critical for Petty to make sure to click off the laps, not make anything critical. And as I say that, coming out of the last corner, he actually gets a really good exit compared to Wackerlin. And again, in this race, it's irrelevant because they're all going to be pushing together, but you're looking at things that might be worth watching when you get down to the end of the race. And right now, that exit shows that Petty had a lot of speed. And when it comes to a drag race at the finish, that might be something to watch as he goes purple on lap number 7, a 108.3, really turned it up on that last lap to go almost 4/10 clear what Wackerman was doing and a full 10th quicker than Wolney and Hansen.
Yeah, Jace Petty really focused on running some consistent laps here. And as the laps wind down, I believe it's 5 laps to go. So Jace Petty's really looking to win this race. He's tired of Jackson Wolney and Ava Hansen winning it these past couple weekends.
For sure, and Ava Hansen still staying in 3rd position. Again, these top 3 we saw yesterday, mostly static code. We already saw more action in this one than we did in the first 10 laps of yesterday's final, with Hansen staying up front. This time, Petty and Wolney both made moves to get themselves to the lead. Petty was able to hang on the backside of the track, but now, heading to 4 laps to go, this is where things start to get a little bit more intense. Again, even if they're not making passes, you're looking at areas in which they are gaining a little bit of speed. And so far, Dalton, from what you've seen, if you had to put, if you were proverbially going to put any money on this race, who do you think would be the best out of the top 3 at this point?
I mean, obviously, you could say Ava Hansen just because of her experience in this division in these past couple of weekends, but I want to go with Jackson Wolney. I think he's a great pick. He won yesterday. He knows what to do, obviously. He saw what Ava Hansen was doing yesterday, and he found a way around her, so I think he'll be able to find a way around Jace Petty real quick. But it just depends, because anything can happen when it's 3 people in a pack fighting for the lead. The first place could make a mistake, second place could get right by and get away, while third place is held up by first. Or, they could all wreck, We never know. Jackson or Logan Wackerlin could end up getting the win. We never know.
Yeah, anything can happen in these sorts of races, Dalton. And when you look back at your karting career so far, you've had a lot of those where you've been running in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, just kind of in this holding patterns here. Can you recall any times where you won on the last lap starting from 3rd or further back?
Oh, yeah, countless times. It doesn't – there's a lot of wrecks that happen on those last couple laps. You never know what's actually going to happen between 3 or 4 people when you're coming down to it. There could be anything that could really happen. I've seen flips between just 2 people fighting for first,
Definitely. And, I mean, you're no stranger to running at the front, as Ava Hansen has not been a stranger this season, but now she's in 3rd position. Again, a little bit of a different order than yesterday, but a similar story to where the top 3 all working together. And certainly you want to minimize the chaos. This last lap, they were about the same speed as Logan Wackerlin. So if any of them get in any sort of contact on the last couple laps and push themselves back, they might lose out on a podium just by virtue of Wackerlin being close enough to where if anything happens and they crash, they'll take advantage of it. But certainly heading down as we get closer and closer to 2 laps to go, we're going to see the action kick off here. It's been a very smart race by this top 3, from Jace Petty all the way to Ava Hansen, with Jackson Wolney in the middle of them. But we're heading down almost to 2 laps to go as they come through the backside of the track. Again, a little bit of a wider line from Jackson Wolney. It kind of opens up for him coming through turn 14. You see Jace Petty coming down into the kink and onto the main straightaway. And they're going to get the 2 to go signal this time by. It's going to be a critical period of the race, because once we get to the final lap, you're certain to see some blocking. So you might see someone like Ava Hansen might want to make a move here to try to get herself in a better position as we get onto the last lap.
Yeah, you never know with the Briggs carts. Sometimes they'll block last 2 laps. Sometimes they'll wait till the last lap. So we'll just see when Jace Petty wants to pull the plug and start blocking. I think he blocked in the last corner. Will he start blocking here as well? Yeah, he will. He goes defensive, and Jackson Wolney just stays behind. Ava Hansen tries to get a run. Won't make it happen.
Yeah, and certainly that was a good defensive move there. You never know when Jackson Wolney would try to make a move. If you recall back to yesterday, it was Jackson Wolney's move on Jace Petty to get second that set him up for the drag race finish against Ava Hansen in the final to win that race. But now it's a different situation. They're leading the race. They're 1st and 2nd. Will we see Wolney try to make a move here, or is he content to stay in 2nd and just drag race down the line? And Dalton, as we head on to the last lap, earlier today we were talking about this, and it seems like every time there's a drag race in the 206, it's the guy in 2nd that comes off better. So as we come to the final lap, would you rather be in 1st or 2nd, as now Wolney goes to the outside of Petty, and that's going to cost him 2nd to Ava Hansen?
Yeah, Ava Hansen's put herself in a good position. Wolney tried to go around the outside, didn't work. Ava Hansen's now in a good position to be able to pass Jace Petty. But Jace Petty's definitely going to be on the defensive, seeing that she's right behind him. He goes defensive into the corner. Jackson Wolney goes to the outside to try to get a run. Won't happen. They all stay in line. Jace Petty's going to defend again. Looks like they're all going to stay in line. Jackson Wolney once again goes wide, tries to get a run on both of them. But Jace Petty's locking him down in this first part of this last lap.
Yeah, it looks like Petty's got this under control, at least until they get to the last corner. But now Hansen tries to go around the outside into the kink. That did not work out for her at all. I don't know if she was trying to square up the corner and just accidentally got a little bit too far up, or if Petty maybe closed the door a little bit too much. But that has taken her out of second place. Now it's Logan Jackson Mooney again in second position. He's going to be in the same spot he was yesterday. Yesterday, it was Ava Hansen that he drag raced to the line. Today, it's going to be Jace Petty. But as they come down the chute, towards the start-finish line, it is going to be a drag race again to the line. Ava Hansen might decide who wins this race. She goes to the side of Petty, and it's going to lead to Jace Petty winning the race on Sunday here at the Route 66 Sprint Series at MCC. A fantastic finish for LO206 Jr. Jace Petty wins over Ava Hansen and Jackson Woolney. A fantastic race between the three of them. That's been all from the LO206 Jr. And so it's a fantastic finish for the three of them. Logan Wackerlin comes home in fourth. Malachi Haight finishes fifth. And Jocelyn Schlinker and Cody Lindstrom round out the field as they cross the line for the final time today. What a finish to that race. We saw Jace Petty leading out of the final corner. We saw Woolney get a good run, but it was Hansen pushing Petty by and finishing second herself that ended up figuring out the finish of this one. So a great finish here to Briggs 206 Jr. But coming up next, we're going to take a look at the Mini Swift category as we head into the second half of our day. Mini Swift sponsored by D&J coming up next on Kart Chaser.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com. If you're looking for top-grade equipment, look no further than Rev Performance Materials engine mounts, sprockets, and arcade chains. Available online now at RevPerformanceMaterials.com and through a dealer near you. The highest quality material, built to the highest quality standards. Rev Performance Materials.
Back here with the Mini Swift category sponsored by D&J Services, and we're getting set to go a 14 kart field at Route 66. This has been a fantastic category so far this weekend, led by Asin Dramaliv, who has done a fantastic job, finished second in the main event yesterday. He lines up alongside Jackson Tovo, who won yesterday's final. Devin Walls will start third position alongside Brandon Saraki in fourth, the best we've seen from him all weekend. Landon Buren and Benham Abernathy make up row 3. Caleb Johnson, Jacob Scheibel in row 4. Alex Kutcher and Ray Speckman in P10. And the final row of this grid will be two heavy hitters. You've got Brady Schad, who made a spin on the last lap of the final or the pre-final event, and Ethan Tovo, who spun early on in the race and pulled off after only 6 laps. It's going to be exciting to see those two come up through the field. But on the front row, it's Asin Dramalov and Jackson Tovo, who've had fantastic weekends for both of them. And now, as we get set to go to the start of this race, I'm joined in the booth by Dalton Haynes. It's ready to get going for a 12-lap feature of the mini split category. And it doesn't go. There's a false start. They're a little bit too fast on the start. We're going to go around, send them around one more time. They'll take the cut through, but that just gives us time. But Dalton, before we get into this race, if you're starting 11th and 12th like Brady Shad and Ethan Tovo are, what is your mindset as you look to try to make your way up through the field as quick as you can?
Yeah, obviously keep your nose clean on the first couple laps. Try to make some good, clean passes. Don't move through the field too fast. They fought at the end of the race yesterday, so they're definitely going to fight again. I don't think anyone's going to get away in this race. I don't think Asen's going to get that lucky like he did in the pre-final, but definitely just keep your nose clean. Try to make some good, clean passes. Make your way through calmly, not too fast. You don't want to wreck before the last couple laps. You know, you got to be in the mix.
Yeah, and we saw in the other cadet category, 206 Sportsman, we saw last time out that AJ Stoner was able to make his way up from 12th on the grid in the pre-final after crashing out all the way up to the win in the final through some consistent passing. We'll have to see if Shad and Tovo can do that again. Meanwhile, they're forming up coming through turn 10 at the moment. And again, Asin Dramalov, I cannot reiterate enough. He's been up at the front in the top 3 this entire weekend. Really strong pace in the dry. We've seen him continuously control races. He did not get the win yesterday. Jackson Tovo was able to make a last lap effort there to get the win from him, but he's been up at the front. And on the other end of the spectrum, Ethan Tovo really led his only laps of the weekend right at the tail end of that race yesterday, but it did not work out for him. He's still in the championship lead if I'm calculating correctly, but now he has to start this race in the end of the field, the tail of the field. It is damage limitation for Tovo as we're looking for the green. We've got it. Dramalov and Jackson Tovo up at the front. They go briefly 3 wide. Brandon Saraki tried something, did not work out for him. Jackson Tovo down to 3rd. He cuts across, and Devin Walls is up into 2nd position behind Asin Dramalov, who got an excellent start from the inside, shielding off the rest of the field as they come up towards turn 4. Walls, the highest we've seen him since early on in the pre-final yesterday. Will he have the pace of capable of Drummond? We'll have to see. Jackson Tovo slots into 3rd now as he's right behind Devin Walls, going in for 3rd. Drummond goes defensive into turn 7. Cannot quite get a great exit, but it's okay because he's not got any direct pressure from behind. Looking down the field to see where Tovo and Shad are, it looks like they've already made up a number of places at the start on the opening lap here. So this is good stuff for them as we see one driver drop a little bit of a wheel midway through the field in one of the nitro carts, I believe that is. But as they come through turn 11 into turn 12, heading into the hairpin of turn 13, it is Asin Dramalov leading on the opening lap of this race. We'll get a look at where Brady Shad and Ethan Tovo are at the end of the lap. But as we head onto the main straight through the chute, Asin Dramalov leads lap number 1 here at Route 66 at MCC. And it looks like Jackson Tovo is going to make a move heading down to turn 1 on Devin Walls. Walls shuts the door.
Gets the door shut in
a
his
big
face.
gap.
Asin Dramalov doing a great job with these first couple laps. He's gotten a gap. He's going to try to focus forward. He needs to put in some good laps on these first couple laps to try to get away. He's already gotten a small gap on 2nd place of Devin Walls. So if he focuses forward and 2nd and 3rd keep fighting, he might be able to pull away just like he did in the pre-final.
Yeah, certainly another thing worth watching is at the moment, Brady Shad and Ethan Tovo are 7th and 8th. So they each made up 4 positions on that opening lap. Next up for them is Brandon Saraki in 6th. And by the looks of it, it looks like I believe Shad has already gotten by Saraki and is now on the bumper of Landon Bueller for P5. Not sure about Tovo. I think he might be 1 spot behind at the moment. He still has to get by Saraki. We see that now as we see Shad go to the inside of Bueller for P5 as Tovo gets by for P7 heading through the turn 13 hairpin. But that's all happening about 6 or 7 car lengths back, because going up front, we've got Asin Dramalov just continuing to chill, but Jackson Tovo is going to look for P2. He's got it on Devin Walls. Finn Abernathy gets himself up into P3, and here comes Brady Shad. It has taken him almost no time to go from the back of the grid up to 4th. He's almost up to the lead group, and now he's got Ethan Tovo coming in behind him as well. Shad's going to go down. Now we've got Ethan Tovo up to P5 ahead of Devin Walls, so in the span of about half a lap, he's gone from 2nd all the way down to 6th in the end of that group, and now he's got a good guy in Landon Bueller here there for company as well. So all of this happening behind Asin Dramalov, who continues to lead by over a second at this point over Jackson Tovo, but now Tovo can set his sights on the 177 driver, who has had a really good showing this weekend, and now we'll have some company here coming up soon, as now we're looking into turn 13. Shad made a move last lap. He's going to do the same thing there as well. Ethan Tovo follows him through. The two of them have worked well together from the back of the grid, putting aside their differences. They're now third and fourth, and now the next on the road is Jackson Tovo, second place, your winner from yesterday. They're only about 4 kart lengths back, so sensational stuff from them early in this race to get almost in the range of the race lead.
Yeah, Brady Schott and Ethan Tovo wasting absolutely no time to get back up to the front and work with Jackson Tovo to catch Asen Dramalov. He's going to have to put in some mega laps at the front if he wants to keep that gap as it is, because Jackson Tovo, Ethan Tovo, and Brady Schott are coming for him.
Yeah, and we just saw him pass for third position. Ethan Tovo did not want to work behind Schott any longer. Figured, hey, we made it up to the front. Now we can race for real. And Ethan Tovo now slots in. He's now the one chasing his brother, Jackson Tovo. Only about 2 kart lengths separate them, which is crazy to think considering they both started on opposite ends of the grid. But Ethan has been on a roll on this race, going half a second quicker than Asen Dramalov at the front, 4/10 quicker than Jackson Tovo. He is coming to the front, and it's just a matter of time before he gets all the way up to his brother Jackson as they come through 14 now. And you can see the 2nd through 5th is all in a draft all the way back to Benham Abernathy, who is at the tail of that and has managed to latch on to Ethan Tovo and Brady Schott heading down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I don't know what got into Ethan Tovo, but he put the jets on for these first couple of laps. He is flying.
Yeah, now
And
Ethan Tovo down the inside of his brother. Made it a little bit difficult for him.
Shuts
Jackson
the door on his brother.
Got a little bit sideways there, a little bit of contact, but nothing too serious, as now Brady Schott takes advantage of that and goes down the inside of Jackson Tovo. So Schott and Tovo, they swapped positions a lap or so ago, but now from the back of the grid, from 11th to 12th, they're now 11th or 2nd and 3rd. But as I say that, Jackson Tovo back down the inside of Schott. That didn't work. He sloves Brandon Abernathy off the track coming out of turn 7. That is not going to be looked at kindly from the Merlin camp and the 107 of Benham Abernathy. But hey, it is tough racing out here. We saw it in the pre-final. That's the reason why Tovo and Schott had to go through the field, and now we're seeing it come together in the final. But in the meantime, Asen Dramalov continues to lead by about 4 or 5 kart lengths. It's definitely shorter than what we saw earlier in the race, but now Brady Schott is hot in pursuit.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Emery, Asen Dramalov, this is working out great for him. They're all fighting, but Ethan Tovo did get up to the front very quickly. He's in 2nd place now, but he is going to start catching him. I'm not absolutely positive on that, though, because they definitely put those tire pressures up for Ethan Tovo earlier in the race. So we might see him fall off as Jackson Tovo loses a lot of positions with Brady Schott and Benham Abernathy fighting very hard for 3rd place. The battle for 3rd is really kicking off here with the top from 3rd down to 6th.
Yeah, if we remember back to the pre-final, this is where it came unraveled for both Schott and for Jackson Tovo. It worked out for Jackson Tovo actually to finish 2nd, but part of the reason they lost Asen Dramalov was because of reasons like that, where they continued to fight each other. And now for Brady Schott, this is a disaster. He's all the way almost a second and a half back of where Ethan Tovo is at this point. So in just one lap, he's kind of worked himself out of contention for this race at the moment, unless something drastic happens, because Asen Dramalov has continued to put consistent laps on the front. He's getting caught from behind by Ethan Tovo, but at this point, the danger of that is no longer anywhere near as much, because instead of having 7 karts on his rear, now he only is going to have to worry about 1 of them, and Tovo's even still, he's going purple, but it's going to take a miracle for the second group to catch up to them now.
Ethan Tovo is doing a great job putting in laps to catch Asen Dramalov. Asen Dramalov is really just going to have to focus forward and hope that Ethan Tovo decides to work with him, or decides to have Asen Dramalov push him, or else that backpack will be looking to catch up to them later on. But they are fighting very hard right now as Brady Schott gets punted to the side by Benham Abernathy. That was a bit dicey. They're getting very vicious out there on track.
Yeah, I have to say, this battle from 3rd on back is very entertaining, but it cannot
Brady Schott goes back
for any of them. Yes, Schott goes down the inside, coming into the kink into turn 11. We'll see who emerges in the front of 12, but in the meantime, we've got a battle for the lead on our hands. For the first time in about 10 laps of racing, Asen Dramalov might not lead at the end of the next lap because Ethan Tovo is all over him, coming down the long chute, down towards the straightaway. Tovo in tow. Is he going to push? He is going to push behind him. Stay patient because he knows what's going on behind them. They now have almost 3 seconds back to Brady Schott and Jackson Tovo. But now Ethan Tovo has done all the hard work. He has caught up to Asen Dramalov from about a second back and has all the pace in the world. And now 4 laps to do something with it.
Ethan Tovo is playing it pretty smart here. He's working with the Sendramalov because he knows that pack from third on back is fighting. There it goes again. Ethan Tovo and Brady Schad. They do not. Oh, they get into each other on the exit of that corner. Ethan Tovo and Brady Schad did not have a good relationship in the last race. They were fighting really hard in the last race, but Jackson Tovo seemed to get away in the last one. That's not the case here with that pack really fighting. That is definitely a battle for third. I don't think they'll be catching us in. Or
we got
Ethan
a battle
Tovo
for the lead right now, though, as Ethan Tovo puts himself back up at the front. We see the battle for third now raging on. Two major battles going on. Dravo has lost the lead to Tovo coming down the short chute. In the meantime, in third place, it looks as if Jackson Tovo continues to lead that group coming down the main straightaway. But yeah, this has been a chaotic race. Ethan Tovo from the back of the grid to first, 12th to first, and only 9 laps of action. He now leads this race as Shad's under pressure into turn 2. It's a 4-car trade with 5th and Devin Walls not too far behind in 7th place as Jackson Tovo leads him up the hill for 3rd place while his brother leads the race up coming down towards turn 7. A fantastic effort from Ethan Tovo. In the meantime, Brady Shad, this running mate from the back of the grid, is stalled in 3rd or 4th and continues to fight with Jackson Tovo, just trying to do what they can to get away from this group. But every 2 laps, it seems like they're just going at it with each other.
Brady Schad on the rear bumper of Jackson Tovo again. Will he want to make a move, or will he actually push this time? Let's see. Oh, he decides better of it.
Yeah, as we look now towards the back half of the track, looks like Schad is back on the bumper of Tovo. Jackson Tovo continues to hang on in 3rd place, 3.5 seconds off the lead at this point. His chances of winning the race again for the 2nd day in a row pretty much gone unless Dravolov and Tovo make contact with each other as they come down to 2 to go now. Ethan Tovo leads the race from the Sendramalov, but we're looking at the battle for 4th as now Landon Buer puts his nose on the inside of Brady Schad and gets that position for 4th place. There's a sick 4-car battle up there, and now Jackson Tovo leads that group, but Ethan Tovo against Dravolov. Dravolov's been able to put down his bestest lap of the race this past lap, and now he is right in tail, and you'll have to see if he's going to have to make any move on Tovo's now as we look back for the battle for 4th. Bueller goes defensive on entrance of 7. Shaw's going to cross him over, get that position back, clear him coming up the hill.
Jackson Tovo seems to have gotten a gap on the 4th place of Brady Schad because they're fighting so hard. It looks like it's going to be a 2-horse race for the final lap between Ethan Tovo and Asin Dramalov. This is going to be very interesting here, seeing as Asin has a 2-car length. Ethan Tovo has a 2-car length gap on Asin Dramalov going into the last lap. Here they come.
Yeah, it looks like Ethan Tovo has 1 more lap to hang on. He started this race at the back of the field. By lap 3, he was up to 4th place. Now he's in the lead of the race after hunting down Asin Dramalov. And on the last lap, Dravolov is right on his bumper again. He's clearly got the pace. Does he have the racecraft to get it done? In the battle for 3rd
Oh, they
now,
come together.
Tovo
Brady
and
Schad
Tovo
and
come
Tovo.
together. Brady Schad and Tovo. They're making wheel-to-wheel contact all the way up the hill. Jackson Tovo tries to clear out Benham Abernathy into the corner, but Abernathy puts himself on the podium for the time being. As we now focus in on that battle for 3rd, you see the 2 leaders coming across. There's still a couple of car lengths. That's going to come down to the wire, but Jackson Tovo and Brady Schad make contact again. Now coming through 7, it's Benham Abernathy up at the front of that pack for 3rd place. As we look, it's on again on the leaders. We're seeing continuous battling all the way across the racetrack. 3rd on back now. You see that as Bueller's got a bumper into the grass now. He goes off the track. That's going to be his race over. In the meantime, Ethan Tovo up at the front of the field, trying his best to hang on. We see the battle for 3rd now coming through, but meanwhile up at the front is going to be a fight to the chute now. Coming to the line, who's it going to be? Ethan Tovo last on the grid, Dravolov first on the grid, coming to the checker. Tovo's got it done. He's celebrating
Ethan
early.
Tovo from
He still
last
got
on the
it.
grid.
What a race for him. And Brady Schad, his running mate from the back of the grid, is going to barely hang on to get a podium over Benham Abernathy, about 400th in it there. So what a race from both of those young drivers. Ethan Tovo from 12th on the grid to 1st. Brady Schad from 11th on the grid to 3rd, and Asin Dramalov continues an outstanding weekend, finishing the race up in 2nd, as we see a close battle for the line between Caleb Johnson and Jacob Scheibel to round off this race. What a fantastic race in the IME Mini Swift category, sponsored by D&J.
Great run by Ethan Tovo.
What a race from Ethan Tovo, going from all the way in 12th, got himself up the field quickly, and then ran down Asin Dramalov. Dramalov has to be happy with 2nd, even if he's a little bit frustrated to come up short for the 2nd day in a row. And Brady Schad, after all the turmoil, finds himself on the podium. But that's been all for the IME Mini Swift category, sponsored by D&J International Services. We'll be back coming up next for the 206 medium category, where we'll see if Adam Maxwell can get yet another main event victory.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAME, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USBKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at mikedotyracing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the SCUSA Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
Back here, we are back for day number 2, event number 3 for Route 66. And we're at beautiful MCC in Cincinnati. We're about to get underway with our 206 medium. Your starting order for the top 5 goes Adam Maxwell starting in P1, next to Braden Johnson in P number 2. And the third place goes to Alex Feldstein. Next to him is going to be Jalen Curran rounding out the field. And fifth spot is going to be Brian Gaskell starting in the 5th position. They're coming down to the line, and our very own Emery Lyda is going to take the start here as they're about to go for their 12-lap feature event.
Adam Maxwell here getting set to start on pole yet again in L206 medium. He gets the green flag. They're going away. Maxwell gets a jump on his teammate, Braden Johnson. Can Feldstein follow him through? Pops the curve a little bit, and it looks like Feldstein's going to get the inside, but Johnson's going to get the position for second and get a good run on exit. Now, right on the bumper of his teammate, Adam Maxwell. Will Maxwell defend into turn 4? We'll have to see. They all stay in line all the way back to Jalen Kerr in 4th position, who, again, last race was able to hang on to them for the first lap or two before falling back. We'll have to see what she can do on this race. But in the meantime, Maxwell coming down into turn 7 has Johnson and Feldstein for company. This is the same lineup we saw for 90% of the heat race. We barely saw anything other than Maxwell, Johnson, Feldstein as the top 3 in that order. But now as they head up through the kink, through to turn 10, already a good gap for the 2 AMAX drivers. As it looks like Feldstein made a little bit of a bobble into the kink there and lost quite a bit of time. So now Maxwell and Johnson continuing to work with each other, just pushing each other. It's the first lap. They've got 11 more to go. This is going to be a long final. And as it looks down the chute coming into the turn 15 and 16 complex, you can see Adam Maxwell with Braden Johnson right on toe. Feldstein's in 3rd. They're continuing to push up in front. No reason to fight as they finish off lap number 1. It's Adam Maxwell and Braden Johnson up at the front.
Yeah, they now make their way heading over into turn number 2. Johnson still on the back bumper of his teammate of Adam Maxwell. It's been the name of the game all weekend long. The 2 teammates working together with Feldstein trying to run him down as they now make their way heading into turn number 4. And it looks like it's still going to be nose to tail all the way through, as now Feldstein trails by about maybe 2.5 kart lengths as they make their way coming down to the 6-7 complex before they make their way down that short straightaway to the turn 8, 9, and 10 chicane complex. So they go, going through turn 8. You can see him taking just a little bit of curbing there, trying to see if they can't cut a tenth or two off their lap time. Brady Johnson take a little bit more curbing there coming out of turn 11, but I think he's got a little bit of a run. He is going to take that momentum and then push it into the back of Adam Maxwell, of his teammate, trying to build up that gap as much as he can. Through 12, now coming into 13, followed by 14. Maxwell continues to lead with Johnson on his tail. Although now, unlike what we saw from the pre-final, looks like that gap is starting to open up just a little bit more between the second and third placement of Braden Johnson and Alex Feldstein as they come down the line. Johnson all over the back of Maxwell heading into turn number 1 yet again. 2 laps into the bank, 10 more to go this time by as they make their way to turn number 2. Emery?
Yeah, Adam Maxwell setting a blistering pace early on in this race. They pulled 3 tenths out to Alex Feldstein, which if that continues, that will be the end of the weekend for Feldstein. There's no coming back from being that far off the pace against these two, because they're going to continue working with each other. We have a mechanical failure for Brian Glasgow all the way back at the back of the field. Unfortunate for him. His weekend comes home to an end. He's been off the pace all weekend, but it's okay for him. He'll finish off his weekend with a DNF in the final on Sunday. In the meantime, Adam Maxwell and Johnson continue to pull a gap to Feldstein, probably about 7 or 8 kart lengths at this point, which isn't a ton, but when you're drafting together like that, it is difficult to overcome that deficit if you're Feldstein. And so for Feldstein, this has been a rough start to the final, not what he was looking for. We said in the pre-final it was critical for him to split up that lead group. He has not done that so far in this race. It's not the end of the world for him. He's still got a lot of time, 10 to go if he can get it together and find some extra pace. But they are pulling away, and they're pulling away pretty consistently with Adam Maxwell leading the charge. Braden Johnson stays disciplined and tucked right in behind him. They pull another 3 tenths to Feldstein on that lap. The gap now sits at 1.2 seconds between the two AMAX Racing drivers and the Merlin of Alex Feldstein.
Yeah, so they continue to open up the gap like you were talking about, sitting at currently a 1.2 separates Feldstein and the top 2 that are out in front of both Maxwell and Johnson. Last lap, Braden Johnson did go purple. He went a 107.630 is the fastest lap of the field so far. That's probably due to the fact that he is getting all sorts of draft from his teammate of Adam Maxwell, and then thus using that to give him just going a little bit quicker as they make their way through 8, 9, and 10, coming up now towards 11 to make their way up the hill before they go on to the newest edition of the track here at MCC with all the improvements that they put into it, giving us a gorgeous facility and a beautiful backdrop of the hills, the rolling hills here in Cincinnati, Ohio, as they make their way through turns numbers 12, 13, heading up towards 14 now. Now they come on towards the transition, the new parts of the track, this long straightaway, which has caused a whole lot of side-by-side action here when it comes down to the finish, and I have a feeling we might see some of that today here in about 8 laps as they make their way through the first corner, heading over into turn number 2. Maxwell is now going to take the fastest lap of the race. He went a 107.544, about 4 100ths faster than his teammate Braden Johnson went at 107.548. Emery?
Yeah, so far Maxwell continues to just run a consistent race. Braden Johnson content with running behind him. This is what we've seen in the heat race. This is what we've seen throughout the race. And at this point, Feldstein finally put in a lap that was as quick as what they were doing. But he's 1.2 seconds off. He needs to be better than just matching them. He has to catch up by about 2 tenths a lap to really make it all the way up to those 2 leaders. So at the moment, it's difficult to envision him being able to catch up Maxwell and Johnson unless they start battling, which with 2 teammates, you would expect them to run nose to tail for a while, but you never know. This is 206. We've seen crazy things in the past from them, and it's going to take something like that for Feldstein to get in the battle unless he has a bunch of pace that we have not seen as of yet. As now they head on to the main straightaway yet again to complete lap number 5 of this race. Adam Maxwell continues to lead. Braden Johnson continues to be right on his bumper all the way down the straightaway, pushing him. They set another lap, another 107.5. Feldstein a 107.7 that time through. So he lost another 2 tenths. And for Alex Feldstein, this is quickly becoming a race to forget for him.
Yeah, you're just going to have to sit back and stay content and hope something happens between the 2 teammates out in front, which I don't foresee happening, seeing as these 2 are probably well-disciplined in racing with each other. They've been like that the entire weekend, and also going back to any time we've raced here in the Route Series, they've always been each other's allies in times of need, and right now they're just trying to get themselves as much of a gap as possible, and they've done so now. Opening up roughly now, they're sitting at a 1.4 second gap between your leader of Adam Maxwell and Alex Feldstein in third. So they've taken 2 tenths each since lap number 5 completed. So they continue to open up more and more as they make their way now into the back parts of the track of 12, 13, now heading up into the 14 complex. Braden Johnson taking just a little bit more curbing than his teammate of Adam Maxwell. That hurt him a little bit, but due to that toe, you can see him all the way now on the rear deck lid of Adam Maxwell as they make their way down to line yet again. Johnson up on the wheel, into the toe, continuing to push his teammate. It was a 1.4 this time by. It's a 1.6, so that's another 2/10 opened up between Johnson and Maxwell as they snake their way out of 2, heading into 3, heading sights onto turn 4.
Yeah, they've upped the wick yet again. Feldstein got back down to 107.5 on that lap, but Braden Johnson and Adam Maxwell picked up another 2/10 and went a 107.3. So it's now a 1.6 second gap, like Caleb mentioned, and as they head into turn 7, you can just see Maxwell's really aggressive on the wheel, able to get that cart rotated well. Johnson loses a little bit at the center of the corner, but by the time they're on exit, he's right on the bumper of Maxwell. So at certain points this weekend, it seemed like Braden Johnson had a little bit of a slower cart, but this time it seems like Maxwell and Johnson are very evenly matched as now they come up through the hill. You can see Johnson, just as I said, that lost about a cart length, but that's kind of to be expected. You can't run right on someone's bumper the whole lap. So for Maxwell, this has been a good race so far. Nothing too eventful happening, which is only a good thing in a 5-cart field. You really want it to be spread out if you're the leader, and you want it to be a race that only comes down to you and your teammate, and that's exactly what they're doing. You can barely see Feldstein as a shot as they come down to the straightaway now. Looking at what Maxwell and Johnson do, they do another 107.4. Feldstein fell off another 3/10 to 107.8. He's just lost the pace in that cart this final. It's unfortunate for him, but it's certainly he gave it his all in the pre-final, just could not find a way by either of the two, and now in the final, it looks like Maxwell and Johnson are just completely content with working with each other until the last possible moment.
Yeah, they're running about 4/10 of a lap faster than Alex Feldstein last time by. Maxwell went a 107.428. Johnson went a 4.87. Alex Feldstein, your third placeman, he ran a 107.818. So like I said, 4/10 of a lap slower than the two out in front that we're watching right now. That is both Maxwell and Johnson as they now make their way out of that hill, coming out of turn 11, heading into 12, followed by 13. As they now are going to continue to go nose to tail. They have 5 laps to go currently. It's going to be 4 to go next time by. So hopefully here in about 3 laps, we may see the first pass for the lead, as once the 2 to go is given, that is going to be then the green light for the teammate of Braden Johnson to be able to not push his teammate of Adam Maxwell anymore and try to see if he can't figure out his strategy to get around his teammate and hopefully get a win here this afternoon for him. Maxwell is going to have to go on defensive when the 2 to go happens so that he hopefully can get the win for himself as well.
Yeah, at this point, it certainly looks like Adam Maxwell and Braden Johnson are going to be fighting it out just between the two of them. Feldstein just does not have the pace. He did another 107.7 on that lap again, 3/10 slower. Jalen Kerr is in fourth. This is probably the best pace she's shown all weekend, outside of maybe the pre-final opening couple laps. She's only 10 seconds off. She's about a second a lap off the pace, which sounds like a lot, but when you're in LO2.6 and you've got Maxwell and Johnson pushing each other to the absolute max aboard their AMAX machines, it makes sense for her to be a little ways off. So a good effort for her, just not quite enough pace as to what we would expect. Alex Feldstein, again, had the pace in the pre-final as well as all day yesterday, just could not find it in this final. And as we go down to 3 laps to go, all eyes are on Adam Maxwell and Braden Johnson. They've worked together from the drop of the green flag. No passing whatsoever between these two, just completely running on the line. Johnson has had an opportunity every single lap if he wants it, but he has stayed right on Adam Maxwell's bumper, and he's been the perfect teammate as they head into turn 2. Another good lap for them. They still pull 3/10 to Feldstein, and it is looking like it is just going to be a 2-cart fight for the win as we get down to the final 3 laps.
Yeah, so we're now almost at about 2.5 laps to go. There was 3 to go last time by, 2 to go next. Making their way out of turns 4 and 5. Now coming down, you can see Feldstein is a little bit into view. He is trailing by about 2.5, just a little bit over 2.5 seconds between himself and the top 2 we're watching right now. Johnson getting a little bit of a poor run coming out of turn 7, loses about a quarter to half a cart length on the leader right now of Adam Maxwell as they make their way turns number 11. This is when the draft is going to come into effect here for Johnson. He can close back up, although unlike what we've seen before, he is now trailing by about 2 cart lengths now heading into 12. Hopefully in this tighter parts of the track, he can close back up. This next time by Emery, it's going to be 2 sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. So hopefully this is when the gloves come off. And I think Johnson may have backed off the corner just a little bit to try to get a run down the line.
Yeah, it looks like he's right back on the bumper of Maxwell, though. And now as we go down to 2 to go, still no defending. They know what's up. They know it's all going to come down to the last lap anyways. 0 point in trying to make anything stupid happen if you're Adam Maxwell. You might as well try to be just as smooth as possible. try to get as much of a gap as you can from Feldstein. Even though they're clearly not going to have to worry about him, it's still something where if something goes wrong, if one of you jumps a curb or something, half spins in the last lap battle, you want it to not cost the other person a second place. So this is all down to strategy. I'm sure Braden Johnson would like to lead the race, but at the same time, he knows the best course of action for his own race and for Adam Maxwell's race is for them to work together. And as they come up through turn 10, this is where we've seen Maxwell pull a little bit of a gap in recent laps. You see it again. He runs a little bit wide, a little bit of an overdrive on exit. That's allowing Johnson to stay right up with them on exit there as they head up through turn 11 and turn 12. Just continuing to run so smooth. Adam Maxwell's hardly made a mistake this entire main event. They've been running mid-107s the whole race, and now it's about time to get things going. The real fight is going to start on this last lap, hopefully. We'll see what Braden Johnson wants to do as they come down to the white flag. Adam Maxwell still not defending. Johnson just still pushing the 141 cart of Adam Maxwell as they come into turn 2. So much patience being shown from Braden Johnson. You have to respect it, but he has done such a good job of pushing Maxwell away from Feldstein as they pick up another 4/10 on that last lap.
Yeah, so we're coming down to the wire, and here comes Johnson on the inside of Maxwell. He is now going to get the pass on it. Maxwell is forced wide on exit, but now he is going to be in the toe of Johnson as they make their way down towards turn 6 and 7. Johnson defends. Maxwell taking the high line. Look for him to make a crossover. Goes to the back bumper of Johnson, although he got a little bit of a poor exit. Now here's the draft coming to effect. Turn 8 is not a good place to pass as you enter in the chicane. He is going to follow through 9-10. Now to 11. Tries to get on the inside, and he's going to lose momentum and run a little wide. That's going to allow Johnson to pull away ever so slightly. Now he's got about 3 or 4 kart lengths. Look for Johnson to defend here from 12 to 15. He's taking the normal racing line through 12. Now into 13. No defending yet. Now he's making his way through 14. Maxwell's going to have to work the toe to his advantage. Johnson's up on the wheel. Pulls out by about 2 or 3 kart lengths. Now the toe comes into effect. They're going to be side by side down to the line. Johnson's going to defend the middle of the track. Here comes Maxwell to the line. Johnson is going to get it. He only led 1 lap, but it was the one that counts. Adam Maxwell comes home in P2. Alex Feldstein comes across the line in P number 3. And just now making the way across the line is Jalen Kerr coming across to finish 4th here this afternoon for your Briggs 206 medium sponsored by Millwright. So that was the 206 medium. Up next is going to be the micros making the way out on track. When we come back after this commercial break, live from MCC, it is Route 66 Racing, round number 3.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Back here for the quick swim micro swift class here in the final on Sunday at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati for the Route 66 Sprint Series round number 3. It's been a really exciting weekend for the micros. You've seen Cameron Marsha go all the way through the field yesterday and finish 3rd. You saw Jacob Majeski finish off yesterday's race as his first career win in the Route 66 Sprint Series. You've seen AJ Stoner up there, Holden Harder's up there. It's been a lot of fun for this category with 14 karts in it. And Caleb Smock, as we get ready to take the start, it's going to be another exciting one.
Yeah, here we go. We're about to get this one going. Cameron Marsha, Jacob Mojecki on the front row, AJ Stoner, and Holden Harder make up row number 2. Coming down to the line, green flag in the air as we're rolling down into turn number 1, and it's going to be Cameron Marsha out in front. They're going to go 2 by 2, 2 rows deep, heading into turn number 1 as they get themselves sorted back out. Here comes Cameron Marsha making his way through turns number 3. And they're going to go single file all the way down to turn 4. And it looks like your second placement, Mojecki. Now, count him your leader of Mojecki out in front. And they're going to stack up single file from behind, heading down into 5 and 6. Sorry, 6 and 7, that is. Counting is not the best for me as they make their way through. Your leader now, Jacob Mojecki from the outside of row number 1. Finds himself leading over Cameron Marsha as they make their way through the chicane for the first time. Coming through turn number 11 as they make their way up the hill. It is now a 4-kart battle out in front. It is Marsha, Mojecki, Stoner, and Harder all involved in that top 4. Stoner running in P3, Harder in P4. Your 2 leaders of Mojecki followed by Marsha as they make their way now through 12 and 13. It looks like no one's going to try to do a late last-minute send in the mail through 12 and 13. They're going to stay in line coming to complete the first lap. It is now going to be your new leader, Jacob Mojecki from lap number 1. Marsha follows into 2, and after that, AJ Stoner now falls back into 3rd as 4th as Holden Harder moves his way up into 3rd.
Yeah, we're starting to get the impression that Jacob Mojecki likes leading these races. We saw it yesterday, controlled the final from start to finish. We saw it in the pre-final. It did not work out for him there as he lost the position to Cameron Marsha, but he has been so good at holding off that lead in these races. In the pre-final, he did a lot of blocking, sometimes a little bit early in the race, we thought, but it worked out for him. And now, as we're heading up on lap number 2, he's back in the front where he's been comfortable, getting so much good experience this weekend leading the races. We haven't seen it a ton from him so far this season, but he has come alive here at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. And as they come up through turn number 12, getting set to go in, is Cameron Marsha going for the lead. He goes a little bit defensive there as he turns the opportunity into a defensive move. And now Jacob Mojecki has a little bit more breathing room as Marsha kind of looked like he maybe slid a little bit there, and that's going to give Mojecki a little bit of room coming down the straightaway to complete lap number 2. They're pushing up to him. They're almost up to him, and Marsha by the end of the straight is right on Mojecki's bumper, and he took Holden Harder with him in P3. Yeah, they're now going to make themselves go through turns number 2, and like you said, Holden Harder, who was able to be the caboose to push Marsha back up to Mojecki. He actually went purple last lap. He went a 105.029. So as they're making their way through the final couple of turns in the old parts of the track as they make their way now into 6, followed by 7, through turn 7 onto the straight of 8, before they have the little chicane that is of 8, 9, and 10. Still going nose to tail, 1, 2, 3. Now let's see if maybe Marsha might try to lead here a little bit as they make their way through turn 11. Up the hill they go. Now down to turn 12. Let's see it. As then we're going to pass on the inside. It looks like Marsha has an opportunity, and that opportunity is going to stay where it is right now as he continues to follow right behind Mojecki. As you said, Emery, Mojecki likes to lead from the starts, and he has done so. The first 3 laps about to be in the books, which means we're going to have 9 to go at the line, coming down to it, to the inside to defend. And now back to the middle parts of the track. Here's a peek to the inside. Cameron Marsha's got it.
Boom, baby. He takes a spot away. Back out in front, and that is now going to be Mojetski passing right back to him as Marcia now is going to try to send it back on the inside. Tries to do a crossover, and sideways goes Harder, trying to keep up with the two of them.
I have to say, Jacob Mojetski has been so impressive when it comes to passing right back for the lead. Did not wait a single turn after Marcia gets him in turn 1, goes right back down the inside into turn 2. Jacob Mojetski continues to lead now as they head on lap number 4, heading out of the turn 7 hairpin up through 8, 9, and 10. We've seen him be so good over the course of the weekend at leading, heading into turn 11 now. Marcia trying to get back up to him. We know he's got the extra pace. He gets a really good run out of turn 11 there. He's going to pass him before they even get into the kink. But now Mojetski again hangs it around the outside. Marcia this time doesn't back out of it. This time he sends it down the inside. Move Cameron Marcia up to the lead as they come out of turn 14 and start their trek down to the main straight. Mojetski even a little bit of a hand signal there. I don't know if he was frustrated or what, but as they come down the front straightaway, there's Cameron Marcia going to lead his first official lap of the main event. And we'll have to see if Mojetski goes back down the inside. He goes for it, gets a little bit sideways, and that's going to let Marcia get a little bit of a gap now coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, they now make their way through turns number 3, heading towards 4. Your leader is still Cameron Marcia, followed by Mojetski and Harder. And a little wide and sideways went your leader of Cameron Marcia, but he is still going to hold on to the lead. It looked like Mojetski may have thought, hey, he had an opportunity, as they're still going to get themselves all try to get set single file. Meanwhile, fourth place on back of A.J. Stoner, Drew Walls, are and Slayton Baldick running in the 3rd or 6th spot. Those three are slowly catching up to the leaders as they continue to go back and forth, making their way up the hill out of turn 11, coming down towards 12. There is the 3 running from 4th on back, being led by A.J. Stoner. They are slowly starting to close back up to the 3 leaders out in front due to the fact of the hustle and tussle that they've done the past couple laps. Now it's down to about, call it 4 or 5 cart lengths, but that's not an exact measurement as they make their way through the final couple of corners. Coming down to burn one more lap. It is going to be 7 to go at the line. Still Marcia out in front, Mojetski and Harder, and the next 3 from 4th on back are slowly reeling in your leaders as they make their way into turn number 2.
Yeah, good lap there from Cameron Marcia, but now Jacob Mojetski goes back to the race lead. Another move in turn 2. He has been so good at getting the lead back. Marcia trying to think about a move into turn 4. He does not make it. Move Jacob Mojetski, the Oak Creek, Wisconsin native, on the Merlin cart back to the race lead for what feels like the 6th time already in this final. He's gotten back by Cameron Marcia. In the background, you can see A.J. Stoner leading a group of 3 back up to the top 3. They're about a second back from that group now. Holden Harder did a 105.3 last lap at the end of that train. A.J. Stoner did a 105.1 at the start of the second train. So if Mojetski and Marcia keep fighting, this will go from a 3-cart lead to a 6-cart lead pack really quickly here. But Mojetski, again, confident leading this race. Yesterday we saw maybe a little bit of tentativeness in the pre-final, but he has been an aggressive driver, almost a changed man since we saw what he did in the final yesterday. And now as he comes down the main straight, looking behind him initially to see if he needs to block, he goes up high again. Marcia content to push him away as they go through to finish yet another lap, get the cross flags in the air. Mojetski does a 104.9 and thwarts off the attempts from Stoner to get closer. Now it's back to a 1.4 second gap.
Yeah, so as the top 3 settle down just a little bit, it continues to open up the gap, and now the leaders are finding their ways through turns 4 and 5 on exit of 5, heading towards 6 and 7. It is still going to be Marcia pushing the back bumper of Mojetski as they make their way down. Here is the battle for 4th. That is between A.J. Stoner, Slayton Baldick, and Drew Walls, who are running in 4th, 5th, and 6th respectively as they now make their way through the 8, 9, and 10 complex. It looks like Stoner and Baldick have maybe been battling back and forth a little too much than they need to, and that's probably why the gap continues to open up between Stoner and Holden Harder as there's a pass on the inside. That was Baldick saying, all right, you had your chance forward. It's now my time to try to lead us back to the front, because while all that's happening, Christopher Yahtzee and Greg Haman are also starting to close back up to the leaders, to that second pack as the leaders are not coming across the line. Leader this time by Mojetski, Marcia, followed by Harder as Harder goes purple that last lap. He went a 104.6, fastest card on track heading into turn number 2.
Holden Harder last race had a little bit of bad luck when it came to him breaking down from the second position. He was right on Jacob Mojetski's bumper when he had a mechanical failure. Now he's running in 3rd position behind Cameron Marcia, behind Jacob Mojetski, but firmly in the contention for a race win here. Looking back on the second group, Slayton Baldick had an outstanding race in the 206 cadet race, as well as A.J. Stoner. Stoner got his first career win officially this time. He won in the LO206 category, but now Micro Swift is a different beast, and you can see coming up the hill now, Majeski takes another look back, 2 looks back in one go, and it looks like Marsha's kind of backed off a little bit of him coming into the 13 hairpin here, and they come around again, continuing to just run in one singular line, heading down to 4 laps to go. Majeski continues to control the race from the front. Marsha, after getting passed a number of times, has decided maybe it's time to work with him. We'll see if he pulls out. He stays in line here, coming down and pushes Majeski past the start-finish line to click off another lap as both of them basically go purple.
Yeah, as they now make their way into turn 2, now heading into 3. There's a good battle for the 4th position. Baldock still out in front of Stoner. Following behind both of them is Drew Walls, as there's a pass for the lead. That's Marsha trying to send it on the inside of Mojetski, and I think it's going to stick, but I don't think Mojetski's going to have enough of it as they come down into 6 and 7. He's going to try on the inside. Does he take the spot back? Yes, he does. Mojetski now out in front, and here comes Holden Harder. He's kind of sat a little bit quiet there in the 3rd position, letting these 2 out in front go back and forth, biding his time, probably saving his equipment as they make the run out of turn 11. They're running up that hill and running down that road. Let's see if we're going to get them to swap their places as they go down to turn 12 on the inside. I think it may be a possibility, but doesn't happen. It is still Mojetski out in front of Marsha as they make their way now to 12 and 13, heading towards 14 and 15 to complete one more lap. 3 to go at the line. It is still Mojetski, Marsha, and Harder, nose to tail, 1 through 3.
I have to say, I've been watching someone on the 10 as now you see Cameron Marsha down the inside in turn 1. Majeski, is he going to try another crossover move into turn 2? Marsha goes defensive this time. A little bit of a change of approach now. Marsha does not want to get passed back again by Majeski. Majeski's been getting the calls from the fence to work with Cameron Marsha, but it has not worked that way for him. And now he goes down around the outside of Marsha, trying to get the position back in the lead. He's done it. That was sensational stuff from Jacob Majeski. Is he going to defend now into turn 7? He sticks in the lead. There's only 3 laps to go, working their way towards 2 to go. And Majeski just refuses to let himself get passed for good against Marsha. I don't know if this approach is going to work. It's very risky because if they make contact, they're going to allow the second group to catch up. But he has done a sensational job controlling the race. But now, Cameron Marsha back to the lead. This time Holden Harder goes with him. Majeski falls back to 3rd, and finally he's kind of out of that. But he's going to go about 2 at 1. What a move from Jacob Majeski in turn 13. Gets both of them. So he's gone back from 3rd to 1st position. This is incredible stuff. Jacob Majeski continuing to drive the wheels off of that thing to keep himself in the race lead. He's white lining it coming down to get 2 to go. Sends it into turn 1. Marsha's going to cross him over. This time Harder's going to follow through into turn 2, and it looks like he's going to slide up in front of Majeski and for any opportunity of Majeski coming back.
Yeah, so they are now battling it out for the top 3 as they make their way down into the 4th corner. Now here's a send on the inside for second. Oh, now count that the lead. Marsha went a little wide, and now we got a new competitor on the scene. That is Slayton Baldock, who is now up into the 4th spot. He brought with him Drew Walls and A.J. Stoner. So there are 2 laps to go. It's going to be the white flag this next time by, and we got a 6-cart battle for the lead as they make their way through the quick chicane, now coming down to turn 11 before they make the run down towards turn 12. They're going to climb the hill, going down that back stretch. Here's another pass for the lead on the inside. Does it stick as they make their way through? We need a final confirmation before you can go on your vacation. It is now going to be back to the front of Jacob Mojetski, who is going to lead as he makes his way through. Cameron Marsha is settling into the 3rd spot as they now make the run down towards the line. P2 now. We said it before. Holden Harder was being a little calm in the back, but now here comes your 4th placeman. That is Slayton trying to see if he can't get a move in there, and they're going to go 3 wide. Now 2 by 2. Marsha back on a point coming into turn number 2, heading towards 3, and here's a crossover. Does it stick? It does not. Emery, take it to the finish.
I got to say, this has been incredible racing. Marsha down to the white line to defend. Majeski going to hang it around the outside again. He gets shoved wide by Cameron Marsha. It is 6 carts all under a blanket here. And Jacob Majeski now defending for second. He flips back to get himself into position now, but Cameron Marsha has found himself up to the lead. And if Majeski wants any shot at the win, he's got to work with Holden Harder here as they come up through the 9, 10, and 11 complex. Majeski is back up within a 10th or so of Marsha. He's going to get a better run coming up into turn 13. Harder and Majeski have back arrived on the scene, but a nice move from Marsha into turn 2 got him in that place, but now it is all up to Jacob Majeski. Marsha goes defensive. Marsha goes a little bit wide on exit. That's going to set up Majeski for a nice run to the finish line. And now there are 5 carts under a blanket as we head down the chute towards the start-finish line. Majeski in line with Marsha. Marsha defending still. Majeski to the inside. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Won by Cameron Marsha. I think Majeski celebrated, but by 5/1000ths of a second, Cameron Marsha takes the main event victory here in IME Microswift, sponsored by QuickSim, over Jacob Majeski, who made continuous defensive moves a la Brent Cruz back in the day. Incredible stuff from Majeski, but he comes up short today over Cameron Marsha, who wins this race. Majeski in second, Holden Harder in third, Slayton Baldick in fourth, and Drew Walls finishing up in fifth. What a race in the Microswift division, sponsored by QuickSwim. It is going to be hard to top that one, but we've got a class that can do just that coming up next. It's IME KA100 the KA100 Junior class, sponsored by Advanced Design Studios. Coming up next, live on Kart Chaser.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com.
Back here live covering the KA100 Junior category here. We've got a front row lined up of Wesley Gimler and Austin Olds. I'm joined in the booth by Dalton Haynes, a member of KC's broadcast team and excellent kart racer. Dalton, you saw the pre-final in this class. You saw a really good race with Wesley Gimler and Austin Olds breaking out at the front, as we've got one kart broken down on the out of turn 7. We'll have to get a number on that in just a second. But Dalton, as we get set for the start, what's your thoughts coming into this one?
Yeah, definitely. I'm really excited for it. I like Austin and Wes. I'm really excited to see who wins this. It's going to be a really good race. Coming to the line, and they got a caution flag because that one driver that's off on the track earlier. We got
205.
Got the 205 card of Malachi Hyatt off the track.
Malachi Haight is out of the race at the start of this one. Broke down on the formation lap there, so an unfortunate event for him. But again, we're starting this race. You've got 12 laps of racing action here. Wesley Gumler, yesterday's winner, starting on pole position. Austin Olds starting in second. You've got Mateo Naranjo in third place, followed by Ava Dobson in the fourth position. Braden Zerves in fifth, Michael Levitt in sixth, and then Lucas Klimek and Jace Petty make up row number 4. Indy Anderson and Cash Perkins make up row 5 here as we're getting set to go, going through turn 11 now. Looking down the rest of the grid, you've got Luke Wackerlin in 11th, Ryan Miller in 12th, Danny Dezelski having a rough day starting in 13th, John Buffamonte starting 14th, Gwen McPherson in 15th, Jocelyn Schlinker in 16th. Then you've got Jackson Mooney and Henry Wheeler, and Ava Hansen now rounds out your field in 19th. You're looking for the green here. They've got a good pace going down towards the start-finish line. It's green flag in the air. Nice start for Wesley Gumler. Gets himself clear. Austin Olds going to try to fight around the outside. He can't quite do it. Mateo Naranjo looking down the inside for second position now. And it looks like he's not going to be able to do it. Olds holds around the outside.
Oh, that's what he wanted.
Big crash in the back.
Crash.
Big crash in the back. It looks like that might be Henry Miller. Ava Hansen, your championship points leader. Henry Wheeler, they're all out coming through turn 2. But in the meantime, as we get a look at those guys, Wesley Gumler is still in the lead. And half the field looks like they've been impacted by that collision. Only about 13 karts are left in that lead pack. A good solid 4 drivers out of the race. You've got 3 karts way back there. But in the meantime, Wesley Gumler controlling the race. He'll have no idea what has just happened in the hairpin. And we've got a red flag up at the start-finish line. So that first lap crash, chaotic mess back in the field. We'll get all of the numbers coming up for you next. We know Ava Hansen, your championship leader, is in that crash. We know that it looks like one of the Merlins might be in it as well. So a red flag to start out here at the KA Junior, sponsored by Advanced Design Studios. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a commercial break here as we've gone to red flag now. Going to check out a couple of drivers. We'll get the names and the numbers and the status on those coming up. Thank you for listening to Car Chaser. We will be back shortly.
Caleb.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as IAMI and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jecco Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com. As the Western importer of the Praga and Formula K chassis brands, Leading Edge Motorsports is a high-performance kart shop and race team with a simple mission: teach others the joy of high-performance driving, supply our customers with the highest quality products and services, and most of all, win races. With our remarkable racing inventory, expert services, and top-ranked national-level team to back it up, we'll help to get your new kart racing package up and running fast. From arrive and drive service to kart preparation and driver coaching to the parts you need to get you back on the racetrack, Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
Four-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to rollisonperformancegroup.com.
Kart Store USA is a kart parts supplier that racers and retailers can count on when they need reliable advice and service. We focus on servicing all racers with honesty and pride while maintaining customer satisfaction. We carry a full stock of Kart Republic and Tony Kart chassis, as well as IAMI and Vortex Rock engines. We've also got a host of other parts available and in stock, such as products from Rev Performance Materials, Jecco Racing Seats, and more. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and on top of that, if your order exceeds $200, shipping is on us. Check out all we have to offer today by visiting us online at kartstore-usa.com. As the Western importer of the Praga and Formula K chassis brands, Leading Edge Motorsports is a high-performance kart shop and race team with a simple mission: teach others the joy of high-performance driving, supply our customers with the highest quality products and services, and most of all, win races. With our remarkable racing inventory, expert services, and top-ranked national-level team to back it up, we'll help to get your new kart racing package up and running fast. From arrive and drive service to kart preparation and driver coaching to the parts you need to get you back on the racetrack, Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer.
How you doing? My name is Mike Doty from Mike Doty Racing from Orange County, New York. We're about an hour north of New York City. We're a full-service kart shop that we supply IAMI, Rotax, and all rock engines. We sell OTK parts and all the tires for all the different series. We support USBKS, SCUSA, Rotax, which is the Stars and Stripes, and the Rock Winter Tour. What we do is we try to get the drivers better by data, driver coaching, and setup. We have a lot of good drivers that come through our program. We have a lot of experience. I've been doing it for almost 35 years, and we just try to translate that to all our customers.
For more info about Mike Doty Racing, you can contact us at MikeDotyRacing@gmail.com or call us at 845-551-0572.
I'm Billy Vincent, owner of MPG Motorsports. What we do at MPG is we try to keep it a nice, fun family atmosphere, try to combine sort of the bigger things and of the bigger teams and the professionalism down with sort of some of the fun, sort of family-oriented atmosphere. We try to not only develop drivers, but also the parents and the families for just in knowledge in general in motorsports. It all starts in karting. What we try to do is try to help the drivers, the moms, the dads understand the sport of motorsports in general, not just karting, but what it takes to get all the way up through. Whether you end up wanting to be a driver or a mechanic or an engineer, you know, we can help you with that, and that's what we're here for. If you're interested in joining us at MPG, our home base is at Whiteland Raceway Park in Indianapolis, and you can contact us at info@willpowerkart.com. And one of our great people will reach out to you, and we'll try to put the best program together.
Odenthal Racing Products, your #1 producer in engine mounts since 1992, along with our leading-edge designs and product development, such as the Odenthal Racing Products EasyGP camera mount, which comes in 4 different styles and can be used on any karting platform. To see our products online, go to odenthalracing.com. USA, a top-level performance team with unmatched hospitality, offering a full-service driver development program with year-round testing available in Miami, Florida, and the official North America racing team of Parolin Racing Chassis. Chassis and parts available at ParolinUSA.com. If you're looking for top-grade equipment, look no further than Rev Performance Materials, engine mounts, sprockets, and arcade chains. Available online now at RevPerformanceMaterials.com and through a dealer near you. The highest quality material, built to the highest quality standards. Rev Performance Materials.
Hannah Greenemeyer is going to score the final win of the U.S. Pro Kart Series. Hayden Jones is a national race winner. Nate Cicero wins.
4-time champion Ryan Norberg winning Super Nationals 24.
Winner, winner, winner.
Are you ready to join one of North America's winningest driver development programs? Rollison Performance Group offers fully customizable packages that are meant to take your game to the next level. For more information, head to RollisonPerformanceGroup.com.
Kart store.
We are back after the red flag here at Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, getting set to go back racing again for KA Junior. It's a complete restart after the first start featured a crash. Looked like every driver was more or less okay. They were checking out the number 884 of Andy Anderson. Notable names out of the race now. We've got Henry Wheeler out by the scale line, who is not going to be taking part in this one. Ava Hansen, your championship leader, is another one that had an incident in that crash. I'm back in the broadcast booth with Dalton Haynes. We're getting set to call this race again. They're getting set to go. It's Wesley Gumler as well as Austin Olds back on the front row to start this one for the IME KA100 Sr, sponsored by Advanced Design Studio. Getting set to race as we get set to go, and Austin Olds gets a great start, but Wesley Gilmore gets a slightly better one, and they're off and away here at the start of KA Junior. Now heading into turn 3, we've got Wesley Gilmore up at the front. A good amount of battling going forward as Mateo Naranjo in the Trinity Karting Group cart goes off the track just a little bit.
Got one off in the grass.
And I think that might be Braden Zerves in the Merlin cart in the back of the field, getting off in the grass quite a bit there.
Wesley Gundler with a huge gap on Austin Olds so far.
Yeah, Gumler with a huge start. Great start to this race for Gumler. Now Austin Olds in second position. Third place is Mateo Naranjo. Fourth is Ava Dobson. That was not Braden Zerves. He's actually slotted into the 5th position so far. And now, as we can see, as we go up through the field, if you look at the back of the field at the moment, it is complete chaos here. But looking at the front of the field is Wesley Gumler, out to outstanding start to this race. He's got a pretty big gap as now we see a lot of battling going. I think that might be one of the training karting group carts going wide out of the last couple corners there. But as they head down the main straight, it's Wesley Gumler getting the lead of the race. It's Austin Olds in second position, and then a big gap back to Braden Zerves in third position, and Mateo Naranjo in fourth as we start lap number 2.
Austin Olds running down Wesley Gundler. He looks fast. He's coming for him. We got some fighting farther back in the field. They're too wide. Austin Olds getting really close to Wesley Gundler. They are creating a gap on third place. He might want to think about pushing Wesley Gundler away from Cash Perkins.
Yeah, it looks like Cash Perkins has picked up the pace quite a bit here over the last half lap. He is now on the bumper. Mateo Naranjo in fourth position, but Wesley Gumler continues to have a nice start to the race. Olds was able to close him down over the second half of last lap, but now it has sort of stabilized that gap at about 2 kart lengths. And if you're Austin Olds, this is your opportunity to get back in the championship battle. Ava Hansen is mired way back in the field, running in the 18th position at the moment. You've got Henry Wheeler out of the race. You've got Eli Ward not racing this weekend. Olds had a disaster of a race yesterday, but today this is his opportunity to claw back the points lead as he is now in second behind Wesley Gumler. In third place, Braden Zerves, as high as we've seen him all weekend, running down the championship leader, or the championship contender in Austin Olds, and it's all the way back to about P6 with Ava Dobson running into that lead pack as they go up towards turn 4, continuing to drive. And it looks like Wesley Gumler has the race lead. Austin Olds has gotten up to him, and Braden Zerves went purple last time around with a 101.6 as they head into turn 7. Olds all the way down to Ava Dobson in 6, all of them in one big long train.
Braden Zerves really showing speed here the second day. He wasn't so fast yesterday. It was more his teammate of Cash Perkins that was a fast one yesterday. But, yeah, Braden Zerves is right on Austin Olds. It looks like he might be making a pass here soon. Wesley Gundler is doing a great job of leading this race. He hasn't let Austin Olds really get within passing range on him. So Wesley Gundler doing a great job, showing more experience than he does have leading these races since his first race first win in KA Junior came just yesterday. He's doing a great job leading. We might see a pass here for P2 on Austin Olds, but he decided it's better to push him rather than to pass.
Yeah, Braden Zerves there has caught Austin Olds for second position. Mateo Naranjo went purple from P5. They're sandwiching Cash Perkins there in P4. All of them have caught up to Wesley Gumler and Austin Olds. So it was once a 2-kart race for the lead, is now a 5-kart race for the lead with Ava Dobson not far behind in 6th place. And then behind her, you got John Buffamonte in P7. But the top 5 all right under a blanket. Gumler's been able to get some good exits to keep him under control, to keep that lead intact, but certainly not a comfortable race for him. But behind him, Austin Olds, yesterday again, a disaster. Braden Zerbs has not had the pace this weekend to be up front, but we're seeing that change in the opening laps of the final. He's got his Merlin counterpart in Cash Perkins running in fourth, with Mateo Naranjo in the Trinity kart carrying the banner after both Henry Miller as well as Indy Anderson were out, and Danny Dozelski opted not to run this final, so he is now carrying the Trinity banner all the way up at the front of the grid. He's in P5 as they come down the straight, pushing Cash Perkins. The top three have got a little bit more spread out, but certainly it is still a 5-kart race at the front. Again, Ava Dobson just doing what she can to hang on in that group. She's only about a 10th off the pace, but Mateo Naranjo goes purple again in P5.
Wesley Gunler once again doing a great job of staying a kart length away from Austin Olds, not letting him get into passing range. He's really hitting his marks in these first couple laps of this final here. But Austin Olds does look like he's catching him later in each lap, and then Wesley Gunner seems like he is able to pull a gap earlier in the earlier part of the lap when Austin Olds runs him down later on.
Yeah, for sure. It certainly seems like Gunler's able to run good at the early part of the lap, really smooth through the first 4 corners, and then it seems like Olds kind of stabilizes that gap and starts to close back in at the end of the lap, and he is bringing that whole train with him. You've got Mateo Naranjo at the back of that train who just went purple on that last lap. Cash Perkins has run well, got on the podium yesterday. Braden Zerbs again struggled yesterday, but he's up there today. Naranjo continues to push Perkins. The top 3 again spread out the end of the lap. We're seeing that again. They've started to drop Ava Dobson in 6th, and now that's a big gap from 6th all the way down to 7th. So it's really going to come down to the top 5 continuing to push them their way away. Ava Dobson's going to have to find some kind of extra pace, but now we've got Naranjo with a move, trying to get into 4th position. Cannot do it on Cash Perkins, but the top 5 stay nose to tail at the moment, as Gunler not able to pull as much of a gap on this lap through the first few corners. And now you've got Olds in P2 and Perkins in P3, just not quite able to get enough up there. That is Braden Zerbs, in P3, that has been up at the front in this race, but hasn't had the pace as of yet to challenge Olds for position outside of the first couple laps where he decided to stay behind him.
Austin Olds thinking better of it to pass Wes Gunley right now. He seems like he needs to just be patient, waiting for the laps to wind down, stay in 2nd place, and as long as he doesn't let Braden Zerbs by, Austin Olds seems to be in the sweet spot right now where he can just sit behind Wes, not let him get away, but just keep his tires cool, not really overwork him, just sit there, wait for the laps to wind down, and then use his experience to try to get by Wes. So yeah, as the laps wind down, we will see Austin Olds decide to make a move here soon once he sees that Braden Zerbs is on his tail. But it seems, though, as Wes Gunler is running some really good laps here, as well as Austin Olds, and it seems like as though they're almost pulling a slight gap on Braden Zerbs.
Yeah, regardless of how this final ends up for Wesley Gunler, he has done a sensational job this whole weekend. This has been a breakout performance for the Holly Springs, North Carolina native, a guy who really just came up to the junior category this past year, had run mostly on the local scene. This is his first year of traveling, and we have seen him put in some great performances, running up in the top half of the field at Stars and USPKS, and now in Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, we are seeing him lead the field in this final. Yesterday you won by mostly staying in 2nd until the last couple laps, but today he has led the field. He's running a competitive pace. They're starting to pull away from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and it's going to come down to him versus Olds at the moment. With 5 to go, Olds continues to stay patient. This is a good point save for him regardless, but certainly he can find a way to maximize it if he can find a way to get by Gilmore, which he does coming into the hairpin, into turn 4. Move Austin Olds back to the race lead. Again, another strong showing from Olds. He's been up front a lot this year, and now another opportunity for him to lead a race here at Route 66.
Austin Olds with a very late pass on Wesley Gunler, but that also let Braden Zerbs catch up a little bit. You see, as soon as Austin made that late pass, that allows 3rd and 4th to catch back up, and it brings the entire pack back to a 5-car train here soon. That just proves that if you make one pass that's just a little bit too aggressive occasionally, they will catch right back up, and those last couple laps will be a dogfight between the top 5.
For sure, yeah, and the top 5 are all close enough with pace right now, all of them running within about a 10th or 2 tenths, all the way. Even Ava Dobson in 6th and now Michael Levin in 7th are not running that much slower. They're just a long ways away from the group at this point, but certainly Olds back out front for the first time in a while. He goes first with a 101.2 on that last lap. Gunler does a 101.4. Zerbs, Perkin, and Mateo Naranjo all still in with a shot at this one, but they're going to have to get a move on because they're still just a little bit too far back, as we see now coming through turn 4. Gunler staying right on the tail of Olds coming into turn 7. Austin Olds, this has been a good race for him. Regardless of how it ends up, if he could just stay on the podium, he will claw back some critical points as Ava Hansen is stuck down on 14th. And like we mentioned, Henry Wheeler is out of this race, so a good opportunity for Austin Olds to make up some significant points. Meanwhile, for other guys in that top 5, again, Gumler's had a sensational weekend. Perkins has been really good. Zerves has been really good. And Naraho putting in some great pace here as well, as it looks like Naraho, as I said, that made a little bit of a mistake on the backside of the track, and he's now lost about 2 kart lengths to Cash Perkins. But now it's back to being Austin Olds on Wesley Gumler, both of them running up front. It's about a 3 kart length gap from them between them and Braden Zerves in P number 3, as now they head down to notch another lap on the books. Gumler just had his best lap of the race as they come down to make it 3 to go. It's a 1/6 of a second gap back to Braden Zerves at the line. So the top 2 are starting to get away from the rest of that group.
Yeah, like Emery said, the top 2 are starting to get away, but there are only 3 laps to go. So unless the battle for third starts to heat up really quick, they will be catching back up to Austin Olds and Wesley Gundler as soon as those laps wind. As soon as they see that 2 to go, Austin Olds will start to defend Wesley Gundler, and the battle will continue into a 5-kart train.
This is true, and certainly something we've seen countless times over the years. When you get into a front 2 breakaway, you've got to make it long enough that when you defend, you don't lose enough time to where it's going to make the other group get into the battle. And right now, they're going to need a little bit more than what they've got right now in terms of a gap to get that position and keep it safe. But at the moment, it just looks like Braden Zerves is the one that started to fall off a little bit. Naraho made the mistake on the last lap, but he's now right back on the bumper of Cash Perkins.
Here we
as they
go.
come down
Austin
the
Olds
line.
starts to defend.
2 to go. Olds defends to the line. That's going to give a little bit of an advantage to Braden Zerves, but at the moment, Olds and Gumler go quick. Olds defends again coming through turn 2. A good opportunity for him. Now that's going to allow Gumler to get a better run on exit. Gumler seems content to stick around though, and now Olds defends again into 4. He is going defensive 2 to go. A little bit early for Olds, but he's got to think that Gumler's going to take the first opportunity available, as now you can see the group behind them starting to catch back up. Olds goes defensive again coming through 7. Gumler is right on him coming down the hill, coming up towards 8, 9, and 10. You can see him going through the chicane right on the bumper of Austin Olds, and the group behind them is clearly catching them. It seems like Braden Zerves has been able to find quite a bit of pace this last lap, and now Austin Olds goes defensive. Gumler going to try to go around the outside. Looks like he's got it briefly, but Olds clears him, and now that
brings Braden Zerves right back into it.
That has brought the rest of the group right back in it as we start to get on to the final lap, heading out of the short chute. Getting set to go onto the main straight. It's Austin Olds, who's led a lot this year, going on to the last lap. He's not going to defend it all. He's got a gap to Gumler, but that whole group has now started to come back all the way down to 4th on Mateo Naraho, and it's going to be down to Wesley Gumler to put in the lap of his life to get back up there.
Wesley Gumler is going to drive these next couple corners amazingly if he wants any shot at beating Austin Olds right now. Austin Olds will have to defend for his life later in the lap, I believe so. Braden Zerves is right there. If either of them make a move, Braden Zerves will be right there to capitalize if either of them make the wrong move.
Yes.
Right now, they're just staying stable right now as there's only about a kart length gap to everyone. But Wesley Gundler is right about to be on Austin Olds' rear bumper as they're going into the short kink.
Oh, that looked like a little bit of an error from Olds there through the kink there. And it's going to allow Gumler to be right on his bumper coming through 11, 12, and into 13. We're already seeing Olds backing up the pack. He bucks all the way down to the bottom, stacking up. Zerves gets into the back of Gumler. That's going to make the train completely pile up.
Naranjo goes under both of them.
Naranjo got under both of them. He's on the podium now, but the fight for the win is going to be between Austin Olds and Wesley Gumler coming to the line. They're side by side. Gumler trying to get there, but it's Austin Olds who wins the final race on Sunday for KA100 Jr. A bounce back day for him after the disaster of yesterday. Austin Olds puts it together in the final and wins your Sunday final here at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati. Wesley Gumler, another podium for him in 2nd. Mateo Naraho rounds out your podium in 3rd. Another solid race for Cash Perkins from 10th on the grid to 4th. And Braden Zerves round out your top 5. What a race in the Advanced Design Studios KA100 Jr. And man, that was sensational. Great driving by Austin Olds, and we're getting set to go for the final race of the day and of the weekend. It's KA Masters, sponsored by Franklin Douglas, coming up next live on Kart Chaser.
Looking for a top-level team environment that fits your budget? Look no further than AMAX Racing. We cater to customers around the country who want driver coaching, tuning assistance, hospitality, track support, and a family race environment. Our race schedule is support available at all levels, from club and regional series across the Midwest to top-tier events such as the TKNA Grand Nationals, the U.S. Pro Kart Series, and the Scooter Pro Tour. Whatever level you may be at or want to get to, AMAX Racing can get you there.
Welcome back here to Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, getting set for the last race of the day. We're green in KA100 Masters. As Andy Kutcher Chris Kutcher and Randy Klimek already off the track in turn 1, crashing into each other. So already we're down to 3 karts in the main group. This has been a disaster of a start for Kutcher, who yesterday got in a conflict as well. And now, as you can see at the start of this race, it is Andy Kutcher continuing to lead the race from Christian Vormier and Roman Pedans. An already eventful start. 2 of your guys in the 5-car field have already gotten into each other in turn 1. Man, you don't want to see that happen, but certainly for Andy Kutcher, this has turned into another race where he can potentially pull away. But Christian Vormier, who was on him pretty well in the pre-final, is going to have the opportunity to do it in the final as well. So we'll have to see what Vormier can do here, if he can have the pace to match Andy Kutcher. But in the meantime, it's only a 3-kart field up at the front because both Klimek and Chris Kutcher got into each other coming into turn 1 and made this race a whole lot less interesting from the battle for third on back. But you still got Vormier and Kutcher continuing to race each other down at the end of lap 1, as I'm joined again in the booth by Caleb Smock. Caleb, already yesterday we saw a lot of fireworks in this class, but as we get set and we see Christian Vormier, we already saw the conflict in turn 1. What do you expect from the rest of this race?
Yeah. Sorry about that, little mic difficulties. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 3-car battle out here in front. I was hoping for a 5, but obviously what happened on the start, that is not going to be the case. But hopefully this will be an intense 3-car battle for the lead. We don't want to end here on this awesome weekend we've had so far with a little bit of a snoozer. But right now we're watching Vormier try to see if he can't run down Andy Kutcher as he make the way through turns 11 up the hill, coming down the backstretch towards 12 and 13. So it's still Andy Kutcher who is trying to do a full sweep on the weekend, both qualifyings, both pre-finals and final. So let's see if he can complete that with this final as well. But both Vormier and Roman Pendaz running in the 3rd position right now. As you can see, Vormier up on the wheel, but I think he's getting reeled in by Pendaz as they make their way down towards the start-finish straight to see 10 laps to go at the line and see if Pendaz waits or if he's going to go for it. He's going to wait and continue to follow in the wake of Vormier as they make their way into turn number 2.
Yeah, Andy Kutcher has kind of checked out a little bit on this lap. Vormier made a slight mistake there, and we're now watching that battle for 2nd and 3rd position. It looks like Pendaz is willing to work with Vormier and continue to work with him, try to get him up there with Andy Kutcher, because individually I'm not sure if either of them have the pace, but if they work together and continue to draft, you might see this turn into a real old-fashioned race here in the KA100 Masters category. We've already seen Kutcher dominate this whole weekend. He's won every single session. He's led every single lap. But as they come through turn 11 and 12, this is his opportunity. This is now Christian Vormier's chance if he can get close enough to just get a little bit of an interesting race here. You can see Kutcher kind of lifting the wheel through 13 and 14. He's maybe a little bit unsettled compared to what we saw earlier in the pre-final. But now as they head down the chute towards the straightaway again, Vormier's picked up the pace again this lap. He made a mistake last lap, but this time he is a lot closer to Andy Kutcher as they come across the line. What sort of times are they doing? A 101.5 for Vormier. Cuts off over 2/10 from what Andy Kutcher was able to do. As they come across and come down up to turn 4, it's back to being a 3-kart race for the lead.
Yeah, so these 3 continue to go back and forth, and we're going to tune in here to see. I think the 2 of both Randy Klimek, and Chris Kutcher continue to go back and forth. Again, this is for 4th and 5th, and down the inside, here's a pass for 4th. It's going to be Klimek back one more position, but they're still door-to-door making their way heading into 6 and 7 right now, and it's going to be Klimek on the inside advantage. He's going to take the spot, look for a crossover from Chris, and it looks like he is going to try it, possibly going into the chicane, decides best of it. Stays in line as they make their way through the chicane/S's. Now as they head their way into 11, coming up the hill towards turn 12 right now, as they make their way towards turn 12 and seeing if they can't cut their way through.
Yeah, and so as we get set to go on this race, you can really see that we've got Andy Kutcher continuing to pull a little bit of a gap now to Christian Vormier. He just went purple with a 101.476 now, so continuing to run at the front of the grid. Christian Vormier in 2nd, running a 6. Pendaz in 3rd, running a 101.5. Behind them, though, it's a 10-second gap. Randy Klimek and Chris Kutcher continue to go at it with each other. Klimek is still way off the pace compared to what the guys up at the front are doing, but they can have their own individual battle and continue to race up at the front of the grid. As we see now, Klimek dropped it again coming into the turn 4. He has now lost the back end of the kart and has spun around for the 2nd time in this race, and this one looks like it might be a disaster for him as he is not able to find his way, and he's now going to be at least 20 seconds off the lead and has lost his battle with Chris Kutcher. So painful mistake now for Randy Klimek. We've seen it a couple of times in this race, but certainly the top three have continued to make their own race out of it. Vermeer is staying just close enough to Andy Kutcher to make this interesting, although I think on this race they more or less have stabilized. As we come down to click off lap number 5 of this race, Vermeer within about half a tenth of him, but he's going to need a little bit more than that to get back up in there.
Yeah, so we continue to watch and see if Vermeer can run down Andy Kutcher. And we got word from our head weatherman of Trevor Blue that there may be a possibility of rain here with the next 10 to 15 minutes, but who knows? We are in the Midwest, so the chance of rain is just as high as seeing a chance of a cornstalk flying across one of these carts here. So they're both fairly high as they make their way into 6 and 7 now, coming onto the back stretch. We continue to watch Andy Kutcher lead the way as Christian Vermeer, he is in his wake, not entirely within drafting distance, but if there's any mistake from Andy, you could see him definitely a little bit closer than we did before. Meanwhile, Roman Pendas would love nothing more than both Vermeer and Kutcher to start battling back and forth. That way he can bring the pack back up, and he has a chance of trying to get his nose in for a possibility for a win. But right now into turn 12, Vermeer closer than he has been before on the exit of 15. He is now all over the back bumper of your leader, Andy Kutcher. You can see him bouncing up on the wheel, trying to get whatever little momentum boost that he can. But now Vermeer is within about a car length and a half heading into turn 1. He's going to have the tow heading into turn 2. As I am checking the radar, it looks like there's a small possibility for rain, not a large one. It looks like it's coming in from the south, heading to the southeast. So hopefully it stays away here for the next roughly 6 laps. If not, it might be a little interesting yet to say when it comes time for the checkered flag. But right now we continue to watch them going through 6 and 7. It is still Kutcher out in front over Vermeer, followed by Pendas running in third.
Yeah, I don't know if the rain is going to get here or not, but I can tell you that Christian Vermeer is definitely here on the scene, ready to race for a potential win against Andy Kutcher. Again, Kutcher has led every single possible lap this weekend. Sensational stuff from him in the KA100 Master category, and Roman Pendas is just hanging on to this group. He was able to close in on Kutcher by a few tenths last time, as now Vermeer out of the final corner gets another good run. Is he going to be close enough this time? They're going to head down the main straight. It looks like Kutcher's going to be under fire here. Vermeer looking for the lead into turn 1. He backs out of it at the last second. Kutcher goes a little bit sideways there and somehow stays in front. It's going to take Vermeer being really aggressive here to make something happen, but he clearly seems to have a quicker cart than Kutcher at the moment. As they head down into turn 4, it continues to be Kutcher from Vermeer, but this is as close of a battle as we've seen at the front all weekend long, and it's also as close as we've seen Christian Vermeer to the front all weekend and in quite some time here in the KA Masters category.
Yes, we continue to watch these two going back and forth as they're making their way down towards the quick chicane or S's as they make their way down to turn 11. Vermeer all over now, the back bumper of Kutcher. This is going to be a good run for him. He is in the tow, heading up the hill and now down into turn 12. And this is when he really closes the door right back up to Kutcher as he gets just a little bit of a better run right here through 12 and 13. Snaking over towards 14. Not as good as we've seen before, but it's still a decent run. He is holding about 2 car lengths, but I think Kutcher got just a little bit of a better run. Vermeer's not going to have an opportunity to pass here heading into turn 1. Let's see if he's going to have any attempt into turn 2. Tries it, doesn't try it into 1, and I don't think it's close enough to try it into 2, but let's see if he closes the door. Tries to take that middle line and loses a little bit of ground, so it's going to be point to Andy Kutcher, who went purple last lap, as Vermeer tries to run him down for the lead.
Yeah, it just seems like Vermeer needs a little bit more giddy up in this race to find his way up to the front of the field. He's got about a tenth or so that he's got to make up in terms of Andy Kutcher. He's got to be right on him coming out of the final quarter because Kutcher, for whatever reason, has the lower gear or whatever, and it allows him to get a better run down the straightaway. We've seen it play out a couple of times now and come through 11. Vermeer is right on him, goes a little bit wide on exit, but again, still, Vermeer right there. He has got to be aggressive because Kutcher has controlled the race all weekend, and I don't know if he can rely on a pass into the last quarter. A little bit of a defensive line for Kutcher now. He knows Vermeer is there. Coming through the last corner now, coming through turn 14, we see Kutcher again, sort of a little bit defensive. He's hiding it a little bit. Coming down the short chute, onto the straightaway. Vermeer is right in tow. He's going to pull out again. Is he close enough? He's going to go for it. Christian Vermeer, for the first time this weekend, slides his way up to the lead. And now Roman Pendas MP3 trying to make a move. Is not quite close enough, but Christian Vermeer, for the first time all weekend, finds himself up in the lead heading into turn 4, and this has thrown another layer of spice into this KA100 Masters final.
Yeah, so new leader for the KA Master the first time all weekend long, and I think this is the first time Andy has not led, although he tries to get it back. Tries for the pass a little bit late there on entry to turn 7, not enough to get it done. and this is music to the eyes of Roman Pendas, who is just following the two out in front. He is now closed in by about a car length and a half, count that too, as he is trailing about a car length right behind Kutchner, running in the second spot, although he gets a little bit of a poor run coming out of 11. Down into 12, this is a big old sweeper where you can kind of dance around between the gas and the brake and figure out which line works best for you. Vermeer doesn't get as good of a run out of 12 that he did before. Into 13, he pulls away, coming out of 15 through the kink of 16, but he is going to be cutting the air for Andy Kutchner, as this time by is going to be 2 laps presented by our flagman this time by. Down into turn 1, no pass from Andy. Let's see if he tries it into 2, if he's going to wait till the last lap. Into turn 2 they go. He gets up to the back bumper, gives it a little bit of a peck, but they can continue to go nose to tail heading into turn number 4 this time. No pass was made either. They continue to go nose to tail 1 through 3.
Yeah, it looks like Vermeer is certainly parking the bus a little bit on the apex. Got to go defensive into turn 7, although Kutcher doesn't pull out the passes. He goes back wide again, and now Vermeer gets a good exit. He's got another cart length and a half on Kutcher as they come down up towards 9, 10, and turn 11 here with the left-handed kink coming up. Vermeer gets a good run. He goes wide at the apex, though, misses the corner a little bit. That's going to allow Kutcher right back onto his bumper. Vermeer goes defensive there down the inside. We'll have to see if Kutcher's able to get it underneath him. Now coming into 13, into the hairpin. A defensive line from Vermeer. He's continuing to hold off Andy Kutcher. Now, as they head onto the straight, a good run for Vermeer on exit. Is Andy Kutcher going to have enough of a pull down the straight? Is Roman Pendas close enough to make a run? We're about to see. We're coming to the white flag. Vermeer doesn't defend for some reason as they come into turn 1. Kutcher back to the lead. Vermeer's going to try again, but now Kutcher goes defensive. And now as they go back up down the hill, you can see Vermeer going up towards turn 4. Just a car length or so behind Kutcher, but he left the door open, and now Andy Kutcher sees his control back in this race.
Yeah, now let's see how these three pan out as they make their way towards 6 and 7, and now the closest they've ever been. Roman Pendas may have a possibility here if he can do a 2-for-1 special and capitalize off of the pass that's probably going to be made here from Vermeer shortly as they making their way through the S's of 8, 9, and the 10 complex. Now coming down to turn 11 and run up the hill. Let's see if he misses the apex this time. Vermeer does not. He gets a good run. Not as good as the leader of now Kutcher as they make their way into 12. Again, this is probably one of the best last passing opportunities to the inside to defend goes Kutcher. Vermeer's going to have to try for a crossover, try to get a better run out of 15. Tries on the inside. He sends it. Now let's see if Kutcher can do a crossover. He's into the toe. Vermeer's up on the wheel. I think there's going to be a little side-by-side action coming down to the line. Vermeer's going to hold the outside. Kutcher to the inside. Side-by-side across the line. And it is going to be Andy Kutcher taking it away by 6 100ths of a second. Christian Vermeer comes across second. Vermeer comes across NP3. And Chris Kutcher just now coming across the stripe to finish in the 4th position. After that, Randy Klimek will be registered in the 5th spot. Well, that is going to wrap it up here from MCC of Cincinnati. Thank everyone for tuning in for both the Prime and the regular subscription. Yeah, guys have no idea how much it means to us. I want to thank everyone who joined us here this entire weekend long. We hope you guys had a good show or just as entertained as we were, both between Saturday and Sunday. We're going to go on a little bit of a break here altogether. We'll be back in 2 weeks in New Jersey for the Stars race that's going to happen out there for round number 3. Until then, my name is Caleb Smock. Join me in the booth is Emery Light. I want to wish you guys a great week and a great rest of your summer. Stay tuned and race on.